For June the 13th, 2014, we talk about the E3 2014 press conferences. Welcome to the 65th level. My name is Cole Ross.
My name is Dennis Furia.
My name is David Meismith.
My name's Ben Merkel.
And you are listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. This is level number 65. And as you may have guessed, we're going to be talking about E3 because that is happening this week. We're all excited, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so excited that David and I spent 3 hours driving last night just to go to a theater to see the Sony conference. So tell me a little bit about that, because you invited me to that and I was unable to go because of work. Mm-hmm. And David, please chip in wherever you see fit. It was basically what Sony did is they picked about 50 theaters around the nation and aired or live streamed their press conference to those theaters real time. And so, we probably had, the theater was like the largest in the building. So it's like one of the new release theaters in the Cineplex, I guess. It was almost full. There were a couple seats up in front, like the very front row, that were empty. Yeah. And you were just watching the press conference there. It was fantastic from a crowd standpoint for the most part. It was, people were clapping and cheering and awing and stuff like that. Like it.
Some fairly entertaining, shout outs.
Yeah. And by shout outs, do you mean people yelling at the screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
That's that.
Not giving props to your homies back home.
Yeah.
No. Although that would have made my day, but
yeah.
Hey, Jennifer! She can't hear you. There's no camera.
Yeah.
We did have it was actually a really, really great group of people.
Just struck up random conversations with other people in line and stuff like that.
Yeah. How do PS fanboys heckle? Do they throw Sackboys at the screen?
No, I'll show you my sack boy. Boom.
Yeah. There was there was one section where the stream kind of got a little wonky, but it wasn't during anything important, so that was fine. And then there was one section where two people in the back got in a fight, just yelling at each other, and were escorted out. But it was during the Powers presentation.
Oh, yeah.
Where the guy spent 50 minutes on stage talking about nothing.
Yeah, talking about, I got some concept art for you here.
Yeah, name dropping people you don't recognize and stuff. It was really weird. So that was kind of a palate cleanser. We could watch these people yell at each other and watch a guy threaten to hit a girl, or a girl challenge the guy to hit her.
No, it was a chick threatened to hit a dude.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. And they both got escorted out, and everyone applauded for that. Which, again, a very friendly audience. We're like, "Yay, the crazy people are gone."
Blood sport.
Yeah,
we are gamers.
by which I mean they are adapting Jean-Claude Van Damme's Bloodsport with PS4.
Yeah.
Oh, that was one of the greatest movies of all time. I'm going on record on that one.
You're going to stand behind that?
Yes.
But they also provided about a half hour of bonus content at the end, plus a whole bunch of freebies. So I think there was you got a lanyard with a code on it, and by entering that code, you get access to the Destiny beta, access to the Battlefield Hardline beta, $5 gift card for PlayStation Network, and a 30-day trial of Music Unlimited were the freebies.
Technically, also, I think the Destiny one is even a slightly more early, one of the slightly more earlier ones in the closed beta cycle. You know what I mean?
Just making the entire prospect of ever attempting to play Destiny a baffling, an even more baffling ordeal. Yeah. So wait a minute. What? This is a game, right? Yeah, but it's also a multi-platform multimedia experience franchise destination. Destiny. It could be Facebook. It doesn't matter what it is. When does it come out? Well, you see, there's a rolling wave of no. Fuck you. There's a box. You put the box in a store. I hand money to this person, or there's a button on a website and it deducts funds, and I get the game.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Wait. It's going to simultaneously. It's like cross-platform. What are you saying?
Yeah, it's cross-platform. Sony desperately wanted you to think that it was exclusive to them only.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Is like they're saying like exclusive content. How do you do exclusive content in cross-platform?
DLC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this game isn't anything. It's a big amorphous. Sorry.
Yeah, and it looked so cool originally, and they're just slowly like just grinding it into nothingness.
Yeah.
It's really kind of sad to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, for me, it's the other way around. It looked like I'm tired and never want Bungie to make another game again, and then they're making a game that's actually a genre I care about.
Oh man,
that's funny.
So we're hopping into the Sony press conference just a little bit early.
Yeah, so why don't we, when we get to the end of the Sony press conference, we will cover the bonus content at the end of that.
Yeah, cool. That sounds good, because all of these press conferences I watched on Twitch, and even though I should, it's the Louis C.K. bit, everything is awesome, but we're all sad, horrible, miserable people. Kind of like, I used to have to wait for this information to come in magazines. And now I'm getting it literally 30 seconds after it happens, except it hitches and I have to reload the page, and I'm like, fuck this world.
Yeah.
So
why me?
Yeah, I want to watch Little Big Planet. Yeah. So that's how I enjoyed most of this.
I did kind of enjoy the every there are a couple of times where the stream would kind of get messed up and go down for like a couple seconds.
Get a hitch and it's giddy up, yeah.
Yeah, and I did enjoy the crowd. Boo! Yay! Boo! Yay! Like it was fairly entertaining.
Yeah.
Memory of a goldfish, these people.
Yeah. Remember last year when we watched the Sony stream until like 11 p.m. and then we started the episode?
Oh, God, yeah.
I remember the Mad Max trailer.
Oh, boy, that turned out.
Yep.
That's still a thing. That's like hidden away, like behind a series of Get Smart doors.
It's like the Conquer cameo.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. Yeah.
No one cares.
Boo. Oh, yeah. So,
I'm sure there's a Conquer, mega fan out there who just lost his shit.
Where he says, I'm bonkers for Conkers, he says.
Yeah.
Ugh. Gross.
All right, why don't we talk about the Microsoft press conference?
Yeah, why don't we do that? So here's the format. We're going to do a combined multiplayer brief. The multiplayer. I'll probably play both those sound effects interspliced there. I don't know. We're just kind of going to go rapid fire through things that we thought were cool, things we thought were about the different press conferences, and then just kind of give like a broad overview of it, working in comments from you guys, our listeners, as they are applicable, right? And then maybe we'll do a grind at the end of this. However, it does not feel likely that that's going to happen. Do not get your hopes up, anybody. Oh, yeah. So Microsoft had a thing, and the consensus, or at least the broad thing, was Microsoft saying, we're not going to show you anything new or even promise anything that's that exciting, except that we're going to sequester all the cool stuff about other people's games to our platform for several months before you ever get a hold of it. Most of their announcements that I saw, with the exception of maybe one or two indie things, were, okay, we're going to have timed exclusive DLC.
See, am I the only one that makes me want to buy Microsoft products less?
No, it sucks.
Yeah, and
I feel like they're effectively saying, we realized it takes hard work to make our experience better. But it's real easy to pay lots of money to make other people's experience worse. And that's kind of the same thing.
Kind of.
They could have done their press conference with like cutout letters, and say we have your games hostage.
So so Sony does the exact same thing. They have, PS4 exclusive content and otherwise cross-platform games. What do you think is the difference? Or is there?
I don't know. It might just be political. It might just be presentation. I felt like Sony showed enough of their own shit to make that not feel, particularly egregious.
Mm-hmm.
Like Grim Fandango.
Yeah. They can. They're going to earn. Spoiler alert. They're going to earn a lot of goodwill if they trot out Grim Fandango in front of this crowd. So, so they know exactly what they're doing. I don't know. Just Microsoft feels like it's a little bit grosser. And like a lot of the PS4 specific, stuff is either, for selfishly things I don't care about, like Destiny, or it's early access to betas and stuff that they're arranging. It feels a little bit less like they're trading their lucre to somebody to like sell their soul around it. Like, and so it feels like Microsoft is doing this in kind of an outmoded way that is particularly consumer hostile.
Yeah.
I think the other thing was at least for me, the presentation, and I would say like straight up, like even to the degree where they're both doing the exact same thing objectively, I felt like Sony kind of spun it as like, hey, here's all these cool things you get for, like being one of us, like we want to do cool things for you. Whereas the Microsoft, whenever they do it, it comes across to me like we have and you don't, neener. Like, I know, just I feel like the presentation is just comes across to me as different, even when they're both doing the exact same thing.
Which is funny, because Microsoft was much more like, oh, we respect our competitors and let's all get along, whereas Sony was kind of throwing more jabs overall.
Let's all get along is a thing a loser says.
Yeah.
Like, well, why can't we be friends? Stop hitting me. I'll give you my orange slices. Like,
yeah. The candy orange slices. No one deals in the real orange slices.
Yeah, no.
Slices.
I mean, they don't keep it. It's horrible currency. I mean, candy orange slices, you can give those to your grandpa for a hug and a whiff of his old spice.
Nonsense. Orange slices have an inherent value, so unlike our current fiat currency...
Every time! David, I have to edit this out of every podcast. Oh, man. So, good.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, the other theory I had was that, and I could be completely wrong, I have to go back and double check exactly how all the exclusives are structured, but for Microsoft it felt more like gating things, like it's first on Microsoft but eventually it's going to get to everyone. They're just gating it, whereas more on Sony's side it was like, this is totally exclusive to PlayStation users, and it's like extra stuff that you get just for being on PlayStation.
Yeah.
That wasn't, time gated and then everyone's going to get it.
Even though Sony's approach probably has a broader negative impact, like, oh, I'm just never going to get Bloodborne if I don't own a PlayStation 4, and that kind of sucks. That feels like it's more in good faith than just like the timed exclusive just feels a little petty to me.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's the thing. Like, to what gain? Like it's coming everywhere else. It's just you're just dragging everybody else down.
Oh, I can get the same thing and when the game is $20 cheaper. Cool, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So I mean, like the big stuff where this is actually like a problem, or not really a problem, where it bugs me is Dragon Age Inquisition, because uniformly the Dragon Age DLC has been pretty good. Sometimes better than the actual game itself, but let's move on from that quickly. And also Call of Duty Advanced Warfare featuring Mr. Kevin Spacey of 7. Whoops, spoiler. So those are kind of the biggest those are the high profile ones. But it was kind of a trend throughout where in lieu of actual announcements, it was kind of like it feels like a non-announcement to me a little bit. And this isn't me being a partisan or whatever, but
although I do have to say, like, I don't know, maybe this is a weird thing to cite, but, I got talking to, one of the other people weighing in line for the Sony thing to happen, and I completely missed the Microsoft thing, so I, asked him how it went, and his take on it is he was kind of excited because he felt like this was at least, Microsoft made a press conference that was about gaming as opposed to like being 90% about we're going to sell you the VCR of the future.
True.
Yeah. So and that's definitely fair. Like they came out and said we're going to do only games. We didn't have to wade through any stupid sales figures or anything like that. Probably because they're abysmal.
You know what? No sales figures across the board. Like I remember Sony last year, it was all like the first 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
here's the other thing.
Go ahead.
Apple's WWDC keynote, no sales figures on that. Do you think these companies are finally catching wise that these are media circuses and not investor events?
I hope. That'd be amazing.
Huh.
Maybe that's a step closer to them dying. I don't know.
to
or
who dying?
Better. I don't know. The events.
I don't know, maybe, but like the more people are paying attention to these than ever, so I don't know about the events dying.
That's fair. We're doing an entire episode on it, so
this is true. Yeah. So in terms of like games that are coming out, like actual things that are not timed, timed exclusives, I'm pretty excited, a little bit, moderately excited. Let's just say interested in the Halo: The Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, that looked really good.
Yeah, like HD remakes of the first 4 Halo games. Some of them need it more than others. Like I'm kind of excited about the HD remake of Halo 2 existing because having played the Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary Edition, a pretty good treatment of that, and they're going to be doing pretty much the exact same thing. The more exciting part of that is they're bringing every single multiplayer map.
Yes.
From all 4 of those games, which is is crazy. Cold storage. Yeah.
I never could get into cold storage.
Cold storage is great. That's one of my favorite capture the flag matches. It's the best 2v2 map, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think as a fan of variety in general, it's nice to have the idea that you could jump in for multiplayer and just like have a new map every time and never see the same map twice.
For sure.
So
like that's awesome.
What I'm not clear on though is like, does this mean that like I could play Halo 3 multiplayer on Halo 1 maps, or what's going on here?
I believe that it is going to be like an amalgamated, not knowing any details about this, and it may have been announced, like an amalgamated like Halo Reach or Halo 4 engine on those maps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah. Which I want a mode that gives me my pistol back. I'm still mad about that.
Like, I was about to say like I would love to see them do kind of like a multiplayer best hits and like take the best parts of each of the multiplayer, by which I mean bring back the pistol.
God, 10 years I've been hearing about this fucking pistol. Good.
That's
God.
The thing he's got to edit out every episode for me.
Yeah. Okay. Fiat currency and the Halo pistol.
With Bennett's racist rants.
Sorry, humans.
Oh my God, you made me snort.
To be fair, I'm the only one among us that was willing to theme my car around our obsession.
That's pretty crazy. I've got to tell you, just a little bit. Care to elaborate on that?
I drive a Fiat.
Okay. Oh, there we go. So
that's the missing piece.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. I liked the way that they handled the multiplayer in the Combat Evolved Anniversary Edition. Ben, how do you feel? I know that you've played some Halo in your day.
I have. I think I'm over it. unless you guys hook up like if we do like 4-player split screen, I'll play that. I'll enjoy that. But
you will wipe the floor with us. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
My days of internet Halo are long past.
Yeah,
I'm done killing.
I'm done.
To be honest, that's kind of my feeling on this thing in general. Is other than the fact that I'm annoyed that Master Chief didn't die at the end of Halo 3. I bear no ill will towards the series. I'm just kind of over it.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know.
Sorry,
there's also Halo 5 Guardians. That was announced before. It has a multiplayer beta. It's not coming out. The game proper is not coming out this year. The multiplayer beta happens 2 days after Christmas. But I don't know anything about that game.
More Halo.
More Halo. Let's see here. James Robinson on the Facebook page writes in to say, I liked the Sunset Overkill game. However, everything seems to have been done before. There's been too many E3s without innovation. Think about it this way. You can't say to anyone who isn't into games now, oh, there's a game based on Concept X, never been done before. Or, there's a game where you inhabit the role of, I'm going to head back to my childhood haunt, the PC, where I can be sure I will find some innovation.
I would say the closest thing I saw to like truly something new was the it's from the Sony press conference, Entwined. And we'll get to it, but it was kind of already done in Brothers, though, where you're controlling two different characters with the analog sticks and solving puzzles and kind of accomplishing goals that way. I would be interested to see if that blossoms as a genre, because it definitely, in Brothers, felt weird to control that way. Mm-hmm. But it was very different than anything else I'd done. And I found myself thinking about things and kind of interacting with things in a different way because of it. So that's I completely agree. The closest thing I can think of to something truly new is this two characters, one player kind of setup.
I felt like, I would say for the Sony one, that I feel like the what was it? No Man's Skies. I feel like that was kind of something a little different, assuming it works.
That's a PC game, though. Yeah. that announcement was only there because PC, because PS4 is the first console it's coming to.
True. Yeah. Grand.
Yeah.
There's a right place to play that.
Exactly. You know what? Go ahead.
The hook of that game is that it's procedurally generated, right? It's like an infinite map.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, what? It's just Minecraft. It's just like Minecraft and Starbound. I don't know. It's
fine.
No.
I'm going home. Wait a second.
Innovation seems like a really weird hill. Like I'm no longer willing to die on the hill of innovation, just because I guess it's been so long since I've seen something like, oh wow, that's like wicked new. That like I've now kind of readjusted my expectations, which could be sad in its own way.
That's kind of a depressing thing to say.
But I mean, it's kind of like to appreciate evolutionary rather than revolutionary steps,
sure.
Right? And look for innovation and weird experiences where you will be likely to find those. Like in my experience, indie games on PC, which I don't think anybody would disagree with, and then look for polish and look for like, oh, this is that same idea that's been around for a while, but it's been kind of like rolled over several times, where you're going to find those kind of more polished experiences. Kind of like with Crackdown, like that idea has been around for a little while. It's been kicked around into Saints Row and such, but now they're coming out with a new one on Xbox One, and that's a pretty compelling argument for the Xbox One for me.
I have no history with Crackdown, so tell me about it.
Oh, it's great. You're a superhero policeman, and you're just kind of like running around a city. It's like playing City of Heroes with the jump ability.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
AKA the right way to play City of Heroes.
The only way to play, you dummy. You clod. Yeah.
I missed that game.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Ori and the Blind Forest, because that looked beautiful.
Fucking amazing.
Really?
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, animation, dog. Like stylized, cartoony visuals and animation. Like, yeah, it's a puzzle platformer or whatever. You can have your stances on those. But, like, in terms of presentation, it looks gorgeous.
What I didn't get is I saw people saying, like, oh, it's like a Limbo. And I was like, no, dog, really not. I do not get Limbo vibes any way, shape, or form.
Sorry, Dennis, dog is my thing.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. I normally edit that out. Okay, so David has fiat currency. You have the Halo pistol. Yeah. Ben has racist rants, and we have me being territorial about dog. Just so everybody knows what I'm constantly editing out, and why we record this on Tuesday and it comes out on Friday.
You learned something about us today. We like to get personal here.
Have they said anything about what it is? Because all I could tell from the current trailer is what you play as, either like No Face or a cat, and you jump around.
Yeah, he plays a little kid or Totoro.
Yeah, what I inferred was that your character was kind of saved by this big lumpy guy, and then Big Bad Bird kind of threatens lumpy guy or takes lumpy guy away, and I imagine you have something to do with getting him back or saving him.
Yeah, I don't like 2D puzzle platformer. That's I mean, whatever little trick they put on top of that, that's what everybody's going to recognize it as. So I think that in terms of its gimmick is going to be its presentation. And shallow though that may be, I still think, it's worth getting excited over something that is willing to just make something gorgeous.
Yeah,
I really feel like there's nothing wrong with that being your thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and people like that genre. I mean, it's a fun genre. It's a almost inherently fun genre.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's kind of one of the indie games that's being put out by Moon Studio, and more to the point of Limbo, the Limbo developer Playdead is putting out a game called Inside, and that's coming to Xbox One first. So that is a timed exclusive.
Oh, what about Ori and the Blind Forest? That's not exclusive and not timed, or
that is? I believe that is exclusive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Actually, no, I don't see anything about exclusivity in the news articles I'm looking at. So
nice.
This fall for Xbox One, so it's possible that they will be mercenary about it.
One thing
they need to establish like levels of exclusivity.
This is DEFCON 3 code red.
It's super douchey, just douchey, and actually good.
Well, what I mean is like there's a big difference between like, you're never playing Gears of War on anything else. On the other hand, like Mass Effect at some point was Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
Like there's
Titanfall.
There's a big.
Did you just fall down a pit?
Just the sinkhole. Don't mind that.
No, don't even joke about that.
Was there a recent sinkhole experience in the news that I'm not aware of?
You know what, Ben? Any sinkhole in the news is way too recent. So
okay. Do you have a fear of sinkholes?
Just being swallowed up at any time. That's an inherently scary concept.
I see.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. But go ahead, Dennis.
Edgar Allan Poe Buried Alive? Any of that stuff?
Maybe I have at some point. Dennis, I want you to continue talking about what you were talking about. I'm sorry.
Oh, I think I was making lame jokes about Titanfall exclusivity, but I did want to talk about something, which was the Dead Rising 3 DLC, strictly for the name, which is amazing. Did you guys see this?
Oh, yeah. I saw it, but it was way too much.
Yeah, I'm going to read it off because so Dead Rising 3 is a
Wait, you need to read it off in the fighting game announcer voice.
Oh, challenge accepted. So Capcom, which does all the fighting games, is doing a DLC where they're just like, yeah, we're going to give you all the characters from all our other games to play with in Dead Rising 3. Amazing. But they're calling it Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade Remix Hyper Edition X Plus Alpha.
Thank goodness they added that alpha to the end.
I know, right? Otherwise, it would have just been the same as Super Ultra Arcade Remix Hyper Edition EX Plus.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could not differentiate that from a serious fighting game name. Like that's what they look like to me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, I saw that and I was like, to commit to a joke so much that you name your game after it.
Or
is awesome.
Even to exhibit any amount of self-awareness.
Yeah.
So.
Well, in Dead Rising 2, they already included Blanca as a character with the one weapon you could make.
Really?
Yeah. Helmet, battery, punch people with electricity.
True.
Yeah, that was the thing. I forgot about that.
It's only a semi-related announcement, but Dead Rising 3 is coming to PC.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Like I said, levels of exclusivity.
Oh, yeah. So let's do a little bit cleanup on Microsoft. Is there anything else big that you guys saw? Scalebound was just another one of those CG-only trailers, which is kind of disappointing. Just looked like a future dude fighting a giant or fighting a dinosaur or a dragon of some sort. Also, Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
out
going to be
holiday
Xbox
next year.
exclusive?
No, that one's going to be multi-platform.
And is that a sequel to The Good Tomb Raider, the one that just the most recent Tomb Raider?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anything else you guys spotted before we move on to EA?
There was miscellaneous stuff, but nothing worth mentioning.
Yeah, cool. So let's...
One thing, Sunset Overdrive, one thing we should mention about that is that's from the people who made Ratchet and Clank.
Is it?
Right? So, yeah. Insomniac? Yeah. So...
Oh, yeah, that's their first...
How's that work?
Yeah, no, it was a big deal a little while ago. They broke off as an independent studio. But
that was after making Fuse, so, like...
Wait a minute, did Fuse ever exist? Did that release?
Yeah, and it sucked.
Oh, okay, that's why I don't remember.
Was that the one with the, overwrought, drug metaphor thing?
No, you're thinking of Haze.
Yes, what was Fuse?
No, not Haze. Fuse started out as, Team Fortress 2, with a single-player mode. It was really cartoony, the characters were really big and kind of over the top, and it was all about kind of team-based shooting.
Oh, yeah, that looked cool.
Yeah, and then they completely redid it and made it all gritty and realistic, and it sucked and was dumb.
Oh, so they pulled a reverse Borderlands.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
Never pull a reverse Borderlands. Wait, is that Fuse spelled with an S or a Z?
S. No, it wasn't from the 90s.
No, Fuse spelled with a Z is actually... A fuse that goes to a bomb is spelled with an S. A fuse that goes to, a missile is spelled with a Z.
A fuse that goes to my heart is spelled... I don't even know.
PS4.
Yes.
Did we mention Fable by any chance?
No, we didn't. So we can biggity back it up
because we are good people.
No, I mean, so it's multiplayer Fable, right? And they've got a multiplayer beta.
Who are the people who are still believing in this game?
Well, the multiplayer element looks a little bit interesting, so I thought it would be good to mention. Where it's a 5-player multiplayer, you have 4 players playing against the player. The 4 players are in third-person view. The 1 player is in a godlike view. So they're basically combining black and white and Fable together.
Oh, huh. I was wrong to ignore that because that sounds kind of neat. So is the godlike view kind of DMing for the people and throwing challenges at them, or
exactly?
Yeah, apparently it's setting traps.
Oh, that's fucking great.
And quote unquote instructs all the enemy creatures in the area from a top-down perspective. So.
Yeah, so you're playing an RTS against actual sentient people.
Yeah.
Huh.
That sounds kind of cool.
To be fair, though, with it being made by is this still made by Peter Molyneux or whatever?
Molyneux, yeah.
Yeah. So to be fair, we'll be lucky if it has 2 players when it's actually released.
That's true. That's true.
Yep.
Yeah. So moving on to why don't I read one of the other responses here? Christopher Schlee says, "You guys tell me. I have no idea what's going on." In response to our,
yes, we will.
Yeah, Phil Holmes also says, "I'm really looking forward to No Man's Sky and the new releases on the Wii U." But yeah, so let's do a 1-2 punch on EA and Ubisoft. They're a little bit scant. About EA, guys, just put Sims 4 in my veins. I was at work today being bummed out and just watching the build mode and character customization mode trailers. It's just put it in my veins. Yeah, it looks great.
So what are the biggest new features? Because Sims, I feel like I missed Sims 1, and it's been downhill from there. So
it's kind of been uphill because they've made it into more of a game at every...
As in, my involvement has been downhill. The games have definitely been uphill.
Okay, cool. Definitely. So the big things in Sim 4 are just kind of it's going to sound lame, but usability enhancements, based on the information that I've seen so far, which, like I said, instead of using a bunch of sliders to make your dudes or just assigning broad overall personality traits or perks, it is kind of a more intuitive interface for putting those things together. Same thing going down into actually building and designing a house, which I think is one of my favorite parts of that series as well. Mm-hmm. And then just on and on down the line, making it a better experience to play.
Is it just CAD software now for when you design your house?
No, it's actually pretty cool. So it does like smart resizing. So if you're resizing a room that already has furniture, it'll actually space stuff out automatically for you. You can buy you can do like modular houses. So you can just drop a prefabricated bathroom into your house and stuff like that. So it's less like, okay, I need to make sure that I have 6 by 6 spaces here, or else it's not going to line up with everything else. It makes it easier to make both macro and micro adjustments. Again, this is just based on watching the trailers, but it looks like a really just good...
Yeah, because in Sims 1, my houses, I always intended them to be like rectangular, and they would end up as like hexagons.
Yeah, for sure.
You mentioned that the series, I've only played Sims 1, that it actually became a game at some point. Like, how's that?
So, like the early Sims games, and Sims 2 to a certain extent,
they're like a dollhouse, right?
A little bit, yeah. So, like your motivation and your goal was to keep all of your needs bars filled, So you just make sure that your sim doesn't piss himself. Sims 3 was the biggest breakthrough in that, insofar as there are actual aspirations that you have. So, determined by your personality for whatever sim you're running, it actually assigns, goals that as you accomplish them, you gain points that you can use, to either increase your happiness or to, or to purchase kind of special items for your house and stuff. So it becomes less about managing a piss bar and more about like planning out your day and managing your time so that you can accomplish what your sim wants to accomplish.
These are always the worst weddings. Where you have to manage the piss bar.
It's not an enviable role. It's like being the usher. It's like, okay, I'll do this. I respect that you're asking me, but this is a sucky job.
Not to show that I'm a horrible person, but what's the advantage of increasing their happiness?
Again, making it easier to get them to do the stuff that you want to do.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
David, so, did you abuse your Tamagotchis when we were younger?
All I'm saying is
he can clean his own poop.
Be a psychopath. Although to be fair, Cole's answer was, when people are happy, it's easier to get them to do what you want.
Damn it! I thought that would slide under the radar. Yeah. So that's my big excitement. How about you guys?
I followed this one online, and there just wasn't too much that stood out to me. Obviously, Criterion can do no wrong in my mind. So whatever they come out with, especially getting them away from the Need for Speed series, which is weird. Like, I recognize that as a really, really good racing series. It's just I've never gotten into it, and I like every other Criterion game. So go figure.
Yeah, Criterion is the guys who did Burnout Paradise.
AKA the best racing game ever.
For real.
Is there a reason no one's done like that, like open world racing game thing again? Like, I don't understand. Not only was it an amazing idea, but it was really, really successful.
It's been done to varying degrees. I don't think that the worlds have been as well designed as Paradise City.
Yeah, I think that's what The Crew is about.
Yeah, The Crew is about like a whole country.
Yeah, so I think it's got flavors of Burnout Paradise.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess Ubisoft's coming out with another Assassin's Creed, and since this is a oddly numbered one, I might fall into that trap again.
Can we step back to EA again real quick?
Yeah, sure. Oh, we can freeform jazz it. Good.
Okay. Well, yeah. I did feel like Battlefield Hardline. That does kind of look interesting to me. I feel like it's maybe redundant with Payday, but I feel like the basic idea seems kind of cool.
Can you make the case for that? Because I have no idea what Hardline is about.
It's
Payday
Battlefield, except instead of being like Americans versus foreigners, it's cops versus robbers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Huh. So it's more like Rainbow Six.
Yeah. Except, I guess it looked to me like they were probably. It looked to me like on the cop side, it's maybe going to get into some of the not in terms of tone, but into some of the like more like 80s and 90s action movie-esque, like everyone has a SWAT APC, you know, some of the like, you know, over-the-top police hardware, and then it looked like on the robbers side, like it was going to try to get a little bit more into like, you know, more of like a payday type thing where you know more robbers with like, you know, plastic explosives everywhere and like, you know, setting up ambushes and it seems like they're maybe going to try to emphasize like chases.
Which is cool if the map is big enough to facilitate that. Like that's a really interesting idea.
And I think this is the downfall of every Battlefield game, and I think it's going to particularly be the thing on this, is I think the game will be wildly successful if it works, by which I mean if games actually play out the way they're supposed to.
Versus people find their one spot and, you know, camp on it.
Right, or I think of, even though like this is actually the only Battlefield game I actually was able to get into, but the 2142, the futuristic one, they had this really awesome mode where basically you had this like giant floating like base that you use like capture points and rockets to knock down the shields and then like parachute in and like go in and like destroy their control panel. Except that everyone realized that it was a lot easier to just use the rocket sites to just blow the things up instead of trying to fight in and take it over. So I feel like if they actually have a thing where like chase scenes and stuff happen, then I think it'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in general this is healthy for the genre, though. I think the most fun I've ever had playing first-person shooters online is when there are asymmetrical objectives.
Yeah.
So like attack and defend, or you know, anything like that. You know, I always hate straight up, you know, capture and hold the point where everyone's going for the exact same points, or team deathmatch modes.
Yeah, I think it's good for the series to take a break from the capture point shit too. Yeah. Kind of also coming out of DICE, there's something I neglected to put into the notes here. Mirror's Edge 2, guys.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about it.
But they didn't really... I mean, I haven't watched the trailer. It didn't sound like they announced anything revolutionary about it. It was just like, here's more footage.
I think that it exists is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the one where they're remaking the original Mirror's Edge?
That's a little bit goofy. In terms of, is this a reboot? Is this a sequel? Not entirely sure, but they have some like concept videos out. That is a game that benefits from presentation and smoothness. Yeah, and so that is that is an area where they're going to be uniquely positioned to kind of take advantage of, you know, next gen stuff. So
yeah,
let the game-induced vomiting begin.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, it for those of us who don't have motion sickness, which again, you know, it sucks that's a problem in this kind of game. I've heard flow talked about a lot in gaming. This idea that you kind of just get into the zone and it's, you know, it's fun. You get a little bit spaced out and everything's just kind of clicking. The only other place that I've heard that talked about significantly was actually in parkour. And so I think there's this kind of natural, like these things fit really well together from that, you know, just finding the flow, finding that place where everything is clicking, and experiencing it that way.
Yeah.
Without years and years of training.
Yeah. Man, I think there were postmortems, or there was a postmortem on Mirror's Edge talking about all the effort that was done in the image processing to keep your focus on the center of the screen. Because when your eyes start to wander, that's when you get motion sick, especially when Faith is moving. That's her name, right? Faith?
Yeah.
Faith. There we go. Yep. So just those little tricks, kind of in a Burnout-esque fashion, to, you know, how Burnout tricks you into thinking that you are moving faster than you are.
Yeah.
Mirror's Edge does tricks with the perspective to make you feel like you're not jerking your view around as much as you normally should be. So I mean, I get motion sick in first-person games. I don't remember getting too terribly. I did get motion sick in Mirror's Edge, but not so much that it took me out of the experience. So
you should try. Dead Island sometime.
Blah. Yeah, I tried it. It made me sick. So
yeah, that I don't get motion sick, and that game made me very sick.
Oh, Ben, did you have anything from EA that really stuck out to you?
Not really. Just the rumor of a Mass Effect 4. It's like, oh no.
Oh no.
Series anymore. So
You're done. You're done with that.
yeah.
You don't have to anymore.
Episode 1 of Star Wars. Oh boy, this is going to be good.
Yeah, so they said it's taking place in a whole new region of space.
Episode -1 now, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't know. It could be fine.
Yeah,
Krusty
because
will be here
it's made
soon.
by EA.
I mean, BioWare. BioWare is distinct and separate from EA. Yeah.
And anyone that throws their hand in with EA is spoiled.
I don't get it. Like you say that, and I understand that it's a valid concern. However, any criticism of EA just reminds me that for several years in a row, EA was ranked the worst company in America over the Bank of America, by shitty entitled internet gamers, and so that just pisses me off and makes me actually want to defend EA.
I don't think so. I think shittiest company in America. I think. Well, I would
shittier
go with
than Time Warner, than Comcast.
No,
Come
I
on,
was
dog.
about to say I would go with the cable companies, but other than that, that's why. But other than that, I feel like the banks you expect to be evil. Like that's kind of their job.
Yeah, I mean, we all remember when EA started going around taking people's houses away.
I'm just saying that's kind of what they do. EA, that's not what EA's supposed to do.
Oh God! So, Dragon Age Inquisition's coming out October the 7th. I'm holding out hope. Dragon Age 2 was subpar because it was rushed. This one was not rushed, and the trailer looks neat.
That should be the subtitle. It's Dragon Age Inquisition, not Dragon Age 2.
It was fine. Oh, man. Just ignore all the play and you're good.
So, I wonder how Inquisition's going to work if you can, romance the people you're torturing at the same time,
I don't know.
Well, if it's the right people.
I know, right? Wow.
I don't know. I mean, you've. I'm sorry. I'm not going to make a pickup artist culture joke.
Yeah, because their culture is already a joke.
Whoa!
What?
Nothing.
Speaking the truth.
Drop the mic.
Well, it's on a stand.
Drop it.
I'm moving my mic around I'm moving it all over. It's silent. You can't hear it.
Freeze it and then cut it in two.
It's pretty cool the way that they're going to have you get your save games into Inquisition. By importing it from EA's online service, and also having just a little playground. It's called a Dragon Age Keep that lets you set up here are the starting conditions for Inquisition. Just because they span that generation, so putting a little bit of emphasis. I think that was one of my biggest disappointments with Dragon Age 2, aside from the dungeons, was that the choices I made in 1 didn't really have any bearing on what happened. And so,
was it a couple hundred years after it or something like that? Didn't they pull one of those?
It was semi-concurrent, but it was one country away.
Oh, okay, with distance. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When did that come out in relation? When did Dragon Age 2 come out in relation to Mass Effect 2?
Dragon Age 1 came out in 2009. Mass Effect 2 came out in 2010. And was it 2010? No.
When did The Witcher 2 come out? Because I confuse that series with Dragon Age for some reason.
Man, when did I think Mass Effect 2 came out in 2009. Yeah, Mass Effect 2 came out in 2009, and Dragon Age 2 came out in 2011.
Got it. Okay. So they should have known better.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, in terms of what they want, but yeah, I'm not even sure. No, Mass Effect 2 was in 2010, so maybe I think Dragon Age 2 was already well in development by the time Mass Effect 2 came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Looking here, What else do we have? Oh, Tiger Woods is no longer on EA's golf game.
Really?
A couple years too late. Yeah, it is now. Yeah. This catchy title, guys. EA Sports PGA Tour Golf. Which sounds like the Eastern Bloc knockoff of Tiger Woods Golf.
Bland, 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 bland.
Was this because of like some of the controversy that he was involved in?
It was about the controversy. They wouldn't have waited 5 years to make it happen.
Just slow playing it.
Yeah. Ubisoft. I watched Ubisoft's press conference, but I didn't really take too much away from it.
What about Ultimate Tetris?
Well, I mean, cool, I guess. Like, I've got my DS Tetris, current. So yeah. What about Just Dance?
That's current.
Yeah. Next E3, we're just going to trot out the Rare team, and you'll be able to throw stones at them.
Tyler did a good job. Like she's a good presenter. I liked how she was making fun of the copy as she was reading it. Just like, come on, guys. Like, pretty funny. The crew also pretty interesting in terms of a racing game. However, it's funny they said you'll go from Miami to New York to LA in 4 hours in a 4-hour driving mission. Like, all right then. So are we on Elon Musk's Hyperloop?
Yeah, as I say, the entire game is figuring out quantum entanglement.
Yeah.
See, I feel like the problem with that is, like, I used to drive from Alabama to Cincinnati fairly regularly. Mm-hmm. Driving for 4 hours is not fun.
No,
yeah, it's like the flight simulator real time from New York to LA.
Yeah. Flight simulator dads. Good.
The idea seems cool.
Yeah. Racing games.
Mm-hmm.
Racing
Did
games.
they expect people not to do the math on that?
Well, they said it like it was real cred. Like, you'll go from Miami to New York. Okay, like over the course of a couple days, like just running in 4 hours. Well, okay, I guess. Assassin's Creed Unity looks kind of neat. The 4-player co-op.
Yeah. Tell me about this because I missed it.
Yeah, I missed this one.
Yeah. So you guys were driving when that was happening, wasn't it? Yeah. This is taking place in the French Revolution, which is sweet.
I like that setting. Like, I think that's a really good one for it.
They're not giving me the fucking Russian Revolution. They're not giving the Bolshevik Revolution. That pisses me off so much.
That also would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Would you say it is Bolshevik?
Yes, I would. I would say it's not because it's the French Revolution. I don't know. It's kind of like it's neat to me, even though I haven't played the previous 2 Assassin's Creeds, that this is kind of the first truly next-gen one. And if you're looking for pure dumb spectacle and like, ooh, this is a pretty image on a screen, that is what's gonna get you there. Like, it looked pretty cool, and they didn't have the technical problems that the Assassin's Creed 4 demo had last year.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
that was pretty crippling.
Pretty embarrassing, actually. Yeah. And it's a 4-player co-op in the single player, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, I would also call out, since we're apparently going to talk about things that have done truly new genres, the kind of spy party type multiplayer in Assassin's Creed games. First time I've seen that. Mm-hmm. Not introduced in this version of it, but we'll see how the co-op goes.
They showed it too, like they led with that, like in terms of the adversarial kind of thing. I think Dark Souls is leaking into a lot of games. First with Watch Dogs and its kind of invasion play, and then this seems to have some twinges of that. So it's neat to see Ubisoft doing this kind of cross pollination across their properties, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Ben, you said you had kind of a combative relationship with this, that you'll fall into the trap, I suppose.
Yeah, I played 1 and I played 3. And
you've played like all of the not good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You played 2 though, but you didn't like it. So
that's true.
So we're saying Assassin's Creed is like Star Trek movies.
No, the even ones are good. Oh yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. And I just was shitty and corrected you for no reason. I don't know. And I kind of couldn't care less about Far Cry 4.
Yeah.
That looks amazing.
Does it?
It looks like a copy of Saints Row, right?
Go ahead, Dennis. I didn't hear what you said.
I said I'm very surprised by that statement.
What do you mean?
You couldn't care about Far Cry 4. It looks amazing.
I just didn't do it for me. I was watching it. And I was like, I feel nothing watching this. Like it's neat that it takes place in the Himalayas.
Mm-hmm.
But
did you watch the Sony demo?
No.
Do you know what you can do in the Sony demo?
What can you do in the Sony demo?
Okay, so you can invite anyone on your friends list in to play the game, whether or not they own the game.
I forgot about that.
Cool.
That's neat. I like that. I don't know what that's going to evolve. It's like, hey, you want to come play some Far? Yeah, sure. 4-hour download.
Yeah.
Or if it's going to stream. Like I could see like if it was a streaming thing.
Yeah, it's got to be that way. Yeah. And that's only on PlayStation 3 and 4. But I was like, why? Like I'd never thought of that before. And the second they said, I'm like, why hasn't this existed for years? That is so obvious. Like that makes so much sense. So I'm really excited about the potential there. Also highlighting my need to play Far Cry 3.
Yeah, although I still maintain that Far Cry 2 was probably a better game.
Oh yeah, we talked about that. That's contentious.
Yes.
I liked what I played of it, but I came to a very specific moment where I rage quit. But overall, I would have said I was affectionate towards it.
Ben, you played Far Cry 2, right?
I did.
And?
They're almost like Assassin's Creed games for me, where I'm not a fan of them.
Okay.
So I played through and beat both Far Cry 2 and Far Cry 3, and they were fine. I think I vented about 3 last year.
Yeah, you killed it and took its outsides. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh well. Sorry.
That's fine. That's it. No, that's cool. I'm indifferent to it. Honestly,
I would say that's probably the thing from this E3 I'm maybe most excited about, honestly.
Oh, cool.
That looked...
I mean, can you speak a little bit more to that? Like what specifically about it aside from open world first person game?
Well, just I liked the setting. I liked the the Himalayas and the verticality and stuff like that. So in general, I like that. I really like the Far Cry's approach to stealth, where stealth as in like guerrilla warfare, as in it's not like a Metal Gear Solid, which is not really a stealth game. It's actually like a line of sight simulator, where it's not about like. Not that they don't see me, just that they don't know where I am right now.
Yeah.
So I really like that. It's a pretty unique. That's kind of a pretty unique mechanic. It's a lot of fun. I really like the open world stuff. I feel like it's one of the few games that actually makes good use of like things like sniper rifles and the different classes of small arms.
Okay. I mean, you're speaking about the series as a whole. Can you speak to a little bit of like what about Far Cry 4, aside from the fact that it takes place in the series? Just because I didn't see anything that wasn't stuff I've seen.
I would say to a significant degree, just it's more the series. I would say the big things for me is I like the Himalayan setting. Just in general, that's kind of a setting that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
It looked like, particularly in the PlayStation one, it looked like they're really trying to bring in a good deal of like verticality. To it, because obviously Himalayas is a crap ton of mountains, and I feel like most open world a lot of open world games end up being the world's actually fairly boring because it ends up being fairly flat. Whereas this seemed to be much more because of the verticality of much more things where like you could be using a sniper rifle taking pot shots at someone from a mountain away. things like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. The idea of being able to use elevation as your as kind of your benefit, as opposed to before it was kind of like foliage, right?
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
Also, grappling hook confirmed. So.
Oh, okay. Yep, I immediately day one purchase. Also, I can't wait to field dress a snow leopard.
The other thing I find funny is that apparently something that, at least the fact that they like explicitly mentioned this and demonstrated this, is it seems that they're doubling down on like using the various animals as like weapons is something they definitely want you to do in this game, which I think is kind of entertaining.
Yeah,
it is satisfying. It is satisfying to watch an animal mow down all your enemies.
Yeah, so like in the trailer they showed, you basically like unleash the wrath of like several elephants upon a camp.
Yeah, and it's pretty epic. Weaponized pachyderms is not a phrase I expected to hear, but now that I've heard it, it's kind of catchy.
God, I hated that presenter so goddamn much.
Which one?
The Sony one.
Oh, yeah.
The one who said weaponized pachyderms.
Yeah.
I wanted to push him into a fire.
The one who was ushering us through the, we're going to read your mail.
No, different guy. The one from before that. The kind of heavier guy.
Oh, I liked him.
The worst.
Blonde?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
With the guy with dumb jokes?
Yeah.
I like dumb jokes.
That got no laughs.
I like dumb jokes. I laughed. I may have been the only one in the theater that laughed, but I laughed.
Yeah. There's one last thing we need to talk about, or at least address for Ubisoft. I said we weren't going to hit everything, but it seems like we're hitting everything.
Yeah, why not?
Whoops. Rainbow Six looks pretty cool.
Oh yeah, and just change the name on us. Think we won't notice? Sure. I see what you did there.
What do you mean change the name? It's just Rainbow Six Siege.
Patriots? Does no one remember Rainbow Six Patriots?
No. We've always been at war with
Patriots?
Siege. I can't tell if you're playing me now. Yeah, just do a big Game Informer like multi-page feature article on it, and then just change it,
and then just have it go away for 4 years. And then bring it back on a next-gen console.
Probably what you should do if you're talking about playing as the terrorist.
True. Maybe. Oh, man. Looks pretty cool. Like the idea of fighting in the suburban house, kind of spooky. But they were doing a lot of subtle things in the presentation, aside from that fucking voice chat. God. But actually showing like, you'll be able to blow holes in walls and use that as your cover. Like the destructibility of the environments, guys. The dream of Red Faction has been fulfilled.
Yeah.
What, 10 years afterwards?
14 years, sir.
Yeah. All right.
The way you said "woo" makes me like it makes it sound like you're fanning yourself. Like whoo.
Enough to get a girl hot and bothered.
Oh, my stars and garters. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Looks cool. I'm not that big of a fan of first-person shooter online games because people are cockholes. However, it was probably the FPS that impressed me the most graphically, for whatever that means, because I never talk about or play first-person shooter games, and I don't care about graphics that much.
Well, and you were streaming it like on, what were you watching it on?
My Retina MacBook Pro.
Okay, so assuming you were getting the max resolution, you could have had a good picture.
True.
So
yeah. But that's what I don't understand is like when people watch it like on their iPhone's screen, with horrible resolution, and then complain about graphics.
Yeah, no.
It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
So I missed this entire the Ubisoft thing. So is this basically getting back to being less Rainbow Six like War on Terror and more being Rainbow Six like the like actual like SWAT team type of thing?
Yeah, SWAT team. So it's like the people are holed up in this big like suburban home in this particular demo. Terrorists, and they're holding hostages, and so it's the demo at the Ubisoft presser was them, was the counter-terrorists getting in and kind of coordinating their attack on the fly, nice. And making it happen. So it seemed smaller and kind of like on a Rainbow Six Vegas style scale of like, we're going to put you in these small distinctive environments and let you make things happen.
True, although like the games before Rainbow Six Vegas seemed a lot different in terms of like Rainbow Six Vegas, what seemed like it was a lot more like lots of military hardware, lots of gunfights, as opposed to being like hyper tactical. And like, at least I'm just kind of scanning some of the reports. It seems like maybe this one's trying to get a bit more back to the tactical side.
Yep. That's probably true. Like, Vegas is the one that I have the most experience with, so that is that I think.
Yeah, that's not real Rainbow Six.
Yeah,
like real Rainbow Six is spending 6 hours in the planning phase and then 2 minutes playing the game.
Oh, it's post 9/11 Rainbow Six.
Yeah, I guess.
It looks kind of cool. For as much as it matters, I may end up playing it on PC. Who knows? All the world is a stage. Before we move on to the next ones, why don't I read some more responses here? Jeffrey Law, Geodude Lawton says, I can't say I've paid a lick of attention to anything coming out of E3. I figure if anything comes out of it that is worthwhile, I will hear about it later. Yeah,
there's a lot of wisdom in that.
A little bit. Like, I feel like to a certain extent, I'm only kind of following it this closely for the show.
Yeah.
Like, and like I wouldn't have gone through a big list of all the coverage and watched all of the press conferences if I didn't feel, a certain, desire to talk about it. Right. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it would be sitting down and looking at what's coming out in the next year, and then putting that list together there. Like, okay, Dragon Age, The Sims, et cetera, and on down the line.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, I think, having these big events with lots of pageantry can be like a very healthy and fun thing. And you can, it can be abused and get really smarmy and nasty. But at its core, like, there's something really fun to be enjoyed here. So, even if we weren't watching or weren't talking about it on the show, I think I'd still follow it to a pretty close level.
Yeah. I mean, I did before. It's just, I don't know. People and things change.
Yeah, and time commitments change.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the game stays the same.
Coming 2015.
Well, speaking of 2015, let's talk about Sony. Can we get it out of the way? Bloodborne, you guys. Bloodborne. Like,
except Brian Russell Wade.
Yes, thank you. Like, nothing. It warmed the cockles of my heart watching this stream live that like when Miyazaki was invoked, that people clapped, and cheered, and then when the From Software kind of came up, people laughed, then not laughed, but people clapped and cheered. Like, holy shit, how far has that come? That that to my perception was the biggest applause of the night for their conference was when this was put out.
Oh yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I have to say, I also am very heartened by the content of the trailer. That it would be very easy and very safe for From to do a Demon Souls 2 or Dark Souls 2.5 or Demark Souls or whatever you want to call it.
Demark.
Yeah.
Like
that would be the safe bet, and that would sell a ton, and people would love it. And this looks like they're really pushing the limits and trying something new.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a big fan of like a deserted, grandiose kingdom. However, this Victorian setting and kind of the more immediate pandemic of what's going on, those are two big departures. I'm not going to say the SP words, but the fact that you've got a gun and the fact that they're kind of placing emphasis on this build of these like two very different kinds of weapons for the series, like that transforming blade and the shotgun. Like, it says, hey, we're going to try and take this a step forward, and we're not going to be beholden to the things that we've done before, as much as we have before. Go ahead.
Did they? I don't remember there being a gun in the trailer.
I mean, that's how it ended. Yeah, him holding the gun to the zombie's head.
I thought that honestly. I thought that was a one of the things.
Joke.
I thought that was honestly one of the things like you use to execute cattle. You know what I mean, like
Anton Chigurh.
No, wait, what it's called, like the mask.
Yeah, it's like the bolt gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but there is a gun, and that's. I would have been bummed out that it was only a CG trailer, except that we've seen gameplay. Like there has been actual footage leaked, 18 seconds of it. Yeah.
GIFs of gameplay.
Yeah. So like I know that it looks Souls as fuck, and it's also been confirmed that there is going to be character customization and stuff. So you're not just the Victorian zombie hunter with the transforming blade and the shotgun. They're just using that as a way to demonstrate how combat is different.
This is definitely going to hew very closely to the ethos of Dark Souls versus becoming like a Devil May Cry.
Exactly.
Although a Victorian Devil May Cry, I would play that. Is Victorian also it's in Victorian because man, there had to be at least one good game in this Victorian setting because God knows the Order is not it.
I thought that looked interesting.
Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, what did you find interesting about it?
Just the setting, and I like shooting things.
I'm
a very easy person to please.
It looked a lot more interesting last year, honestly. Like when it was like more human on human. The fact that they're turning it into a fucking like zombie werewolf kind of thing, just kind of the second they add that supernatural section to it, I don't know. Like I thought it was going to be its own thing last year.
Yeah. I mean,
he said in the same breath after he praised Bloodborne. So
yeah. I expected the supernatural thing like that would seem to be clearly what it was building towards, but it just that trailer felt like people realized a day before the event, like, oh shit, we're just showing the second half of a CGI trailer that we started a year ago. We better put some quote unquote gameplay in here. So they picked two sections and put a crosshair on the screen and had it like not actually be an interactive game piece at all.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying that they showed any meaningful gameplay. I'm just saying the basic premise of the game is I like vampire hunters and I like steampunk. Therefore,
yeah, it seems like a really rich world. So I hope the game does well. It seems right now like it's in trouble.
Yeah, I felt like the selection of things, although I felt like there was so little gameplay that it's difficult to know what was actually going on.
Still had more gameplay than Uncharted 3.
Ben, it sounded like you were about to say something.
I was going to segue and say, if you like hunting vampires, do you like hunting monsters? And have you heard about Evolve?
Oh,
that looks amazing.
Tell me about Evolve, because I didn't get it in the notes. It didn't stick out to me.
They didn't have it in the show.
Oh, really?
No, I don't remember it in the show.
Well,
I didn't see it in the show.
Tell me about it, Ben.
It's by the team that made Left 4 Dead. And so it's kind of like that, except it's a science fiction setting, and it's for monster hunters in space, and they hunt monsters. But each character
hunts monsters.
Yes. Each character has different abilities, though, so that's kind of one thing that's different from Left 4 Dead. Yeah, and I think
and one of the characters is Space Muldoon.
Is what?
Space Muldoon, the dude from Jurassic Park.
Oh.
Except in space. So one of the characters is very much like patterned off of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I guess two of the monsters that they've released so far that you can hunt as is a Goliath and a Kraken. So
it's like an American Western take on actual Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it's from what I've seen. It's it's the it's 4 versus 1 like multiplayer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and
one is a computer too, I believe.
One can be a person. I know.
Huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's the big thing is the monster can basically like kill animals and eat them in order to like gain points, gain experience, and heal itself. And as it gains experience, it can evolve and apparently gain like progressively more over the top like superpowers. Whereas the hunters have a whole bunch of like technological things where you can like, chain them to a tree, I don't know, stuff like that. And I guess it's kind of does a big thing with like mobility where the monster can like, walks, run straight up walls and like jump, stuff like that. It looks really, really cool.
That sounds neat. I don't know what more to say about that.
Onward.
It strikes me as really weird that it was absent from all of the press conferences, though.
Valve's weird.
I think...
Is it a Valve game? Or is it break-off team? Okay.
I think
they broke off, and it was bought up in the THQ bankruptcy, so I forget who owns it now.
No.
But
yeah, so that was my assumption, was why it wasn't in E3, is because it's a, like, pseudo-indie game.
Yeah.
Turtle Rock's the name of the developer. 2K is the ones who bought them up.
Turtle Rock, I recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, aren't those the people that make the, like, really overpriced gaming headsets?
You're thinking of Turtle Beach.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
is that movie with Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage?
No, I think you're thinking of The Beach. Or The Rock. Yeah, there we go, The Rock.
Is it that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio where he's on a beach?
No, I think you're thinking of The Man in the Iron Mask.
Okay.
Yeah. No, Turtle Rock is kind of the studio that had a symbiotic relationship with Valve to develop games like Counter-Strike, various versions of that, and Left 4 Dead. So, yeah. Yeah. Looking at this here in terms of big first-party kind of things, Dennis, talk to me about Little Big Planet 3.
Oh, man. They announced it in a pretty badass way. Like, the lights were down from whatever trailer they showed. I think with the infamous First Light trailer. And then just no fanfare. The lights came back up, and suddenly Little Big Planet 3 was just on the screen.
Yeah. People were like, some people aspirated their beverages. Like.
Yeah. Yeah, that was well done. So the biggest two things that are going to be different about Little Big Planet 3 are that there's going to be more depth to the levels. So in the previous games, you kind of had 3 planes that objects could be on. And this looks like it's, either, I don't know exactly how they'll handle it, but that it's got much more variance in terms of going on the Z-axis.
Yeah. It looked like Mario 3D World, honestly.
Yeah. And then the other difference is that there are different characters now, which I don't know how they'll use that if they try to make it so that like every level has something special for every character. What I saw it was a great shorthand for kind of the things that players would want to build anyway.
Yeah.
So they've got a character that can fly, and it's like rather than having to like set up a jetpack for your Sackboy and having that have to be his item, you can just have a character that can fly.
Yeah.
Or they've got a character that can wall jump and move a little bit faster. And that that makes things easier.
Yeah.
They have a character then that can change sizes, which has some really interesting implications for puzzle solving. And I think that is the one that is most different, because I can't think of any way, and it's Little Big Planet, you could find a way to do it. But I can't think of any way in the previous games that you could easily have a character that changed sizes.
Right.
So that just opens up a lot of new possibility space for creating levels. Go ahead.
And to the point of creating, like the thing that really stuck out to me as awesome about that was them making a point to say, we have these 2 million levels that have already been made. Most of them are World 1.1, and also things to be made to look like cocks and butts. But the idea that all of them will be forward compatible or backward compatible or something like that, still available, and also upscaled with new assets and things like that, seem to show a tremendous amount of respect for the people who have invested in creating for their thing. So that
absolutely.
Politically or just kind of ethically, I think that is a strong word to use. But just in terms of consideration for people who have spent time with their product, that seemed like a huge goodwill move for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that was something they did with Little Big Planet too, and it's great to see them continue that trend. I think the other two other thoughts about the demo. The first one was it was heartwarming to watch the way the audience reacted to the demo. Because, one of the demoers was having some trouble with her character and just, there were a couple missteps, but those actually drew the biggest positive reactions. Because that's the exact kind of stuff that, you experience playing the game. Like, oh, you fell down. Here, I'll help you up. Or here, you go this way. And I found this little secret that you didn't know about. And it felt very Little Big Planet. And it was nice to see an auditorium full of hardcore, quote unquote, gamers oohing and awing at cute little sack people. And, that was just a nice difference in tone.
For sure.
Do you think some of the missteps were purposeful?
I don't know. I could see that.
Those things are so controlled.
Well, just because, the very first time she missed, the jump, a number of times, and then, later on they get to a section and she, aces it, first try.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute.
I don't know. I would not want to be that cynical. I don't think it's I don't think it's a bad thing even if it was staged.
No,
sure, yeah.
The point is to show what it's like. I thought was great. I just kind of wondered, to what degree.
Yeah. Even if it was recreated, I don't know if it's especially cynical. Even if if it was artificial, you said it yourself. This is a situation that feels plausible.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, exactly.
It doesn't feel disingenuous or it's them trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Right.
No,
yeah.
I don't think so.
But it was just...
especially compared to some of the really really dumb ones at the last E3. With some of the pre-canned banter between people playing and stuff.
God, yeah. Way to go, Microsoft rape jokes. Great idea.
Jesus Christ. Why did you have to remind me of that?
Because Microsoft is horrible.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ouch.
But yeah, so diving out of that line of thought, it was just really cool to see that the entire room turned back into kids for a little bit. That was really cool. And then the other thought was just it was heartwarming to see that. It's heartbreaking to think that there are these new characters, and that was a really cool level designed around having the four of them work together, and that is never going to happen unless you have four people on a couch. Trying to play Little Big Planet online multiplayer is the most infuriating, annoying thing in the world. And it can work, local couch multiplayer, which I think is making a big comeback, but you got to have four controllers and four people, and I've almost never had that happen. So I think it will be fully utilized by the dev team and then not nearly realized by the community.
Yeah. I don't know. It looked neat, though. It was heartwarming.
Yeah.
It felt like it was handled in a way that they knew their audience and they knew people who liked, who would like Little Big Planet. So, yeah. The thing that kind of impressed me most about Sony's presentation, though, was their almost heavy-handed and overbearing emphasis on we are catering to indies and we're catering to you. I don't believe for a second any of those were actual messages that were written to them.
Oh, hell no.
But, just the idea that, it's them making a concerted effort to say, this actually defines us as a company and the kind of things we're going to try and promote. Even down so far as, Entwined, saying, hey, this is a game that's kind of made by students, and we're going to give you a chance to play it.
Yeah. You could tell, the guy, it was just so funny, the way he presented it, too, was just so guileless. He's just you are a beautiful hummingbird and a swan, and at the end you will touch and form a beautiful dragon that you may paint with. It's I just want to pat you on the head.
Man. Looks cool. Then talking about like, oh, it's the first time you've controlled characters with 2 sticks. Dogs, brothers. Come on.
Or Ibn Ob.
Oh, yeah, true.
Sure, if you played that the wrong way.
What?
Single player.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I did play that the wrong way.
What's an Avenob?
Ib and Ob.
As he pushes up his glasses.
Yeah.
I still have no idea what
it is a puzzle platformer.
Actually, the original Japanese translation is Abe and Ob. So
Abe, it's Abe's Odyssey 5. Oh yeah.
Which but by the way, I don't think this was during the main show. During like the warm up sequence for the show, when they were showing random trailers, they showed like a remastered original Abe's World, Abe's Odyssey.
Yeah, the new and tasty edition.
Yeah.
If only that game was good.
Is that right? I haven't played it, but it was interesting just to see that they really made it look nice.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, it looks great then. Plays like garbage, but looks great. Oh man, guys. Grim Fandango. Come on.
Is it bad if this is a blind spot for me?
I mean, not really, because not a lot of people bought it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like it's incredibly popular. I mean, it is the one of the latter and might be the latest or last LucasArts adventure games before they really just kind of doubled down on only making Star Wars properties.
Wasn't kind of the last like straight up adventure game before then like now Steam is, there's several that have come back on that, but wasn't kind of the last just straight adventure game?
It was like the last bastion of that, but I think The Longest Journey came out after that.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't say. I mean, there was a drought, but it wasn't like the sun consumed the earth. Yeah.
As the sun do.
As the sun do. Yeah. But no, it's great. I mean, the way it was revealed was kind of, funny, but also a little bit dumb. It's kind of sad that there's only just concept art, but just the idea, that like Disney is interested in keeping LucasArts games alive, and also picking like, here's this obscure one that has this crazy concept that we recognize people love, so let's kind of redo it in a modern context. I don't know if it's going to be PS4 exclusive or if it's going to come out on PC or what, but just the idea that like this is a thing, like of all the surprises I could have asked for, if you would have asked me, like put a gun to my head and say, what's the least likely thing to happen? Like Grim Fandango would not have been the thing that would have come to my mind. But like to have that come out, I like literally went, oh shit, in my room as I'm like working on something.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you had to clean it up.
No, I went, oh shit. I didn't go shit. I want to make that very clear. Yeah.
Let the record show.
Yeah. So I might be the only person who's excited about that here. Nobody else has experience with that, right?
No.
I have not played it.
Okie dokie.
So you have a note, Cole, that Dead Island 2 is being developed by Jaeger?
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes, that is true.
Oh, they're also doing a game called Dreadnought, which looks infinitely more interesting.
Yeah. Dead Island 2, it just had a very dumb CG trailer.
But yeah.
To be fair, dumb trailers is kind of what they do. And if you want to know what the game is going to be like,
Buy
the exact opposite of the trailer.
Oh, so bring a little girl back to life?
Yes.
Sorry.
No, I know, like, Dead Island is a game I'm really looking forward to the degree that, like, I really want to see, like, are you guys idiots, or did you just screw up last time? Like,
are you stupid or just incompetent? Yeah.
What?
Are you stupid or just incompetent?
Yeah, just like the last game, like particularly the ending was so incredibly insultingly bad.
You talk about it every time it comes up.
It makes me so I'm interested to see if, like, I'm hoping this is going to be they clean up their act and like put in a better story, and the gameplay was always solid. Mm-hmm. I feel like the trailer does not make that seem likely, although the fact that it's the same company that makes Spec Ops, I guess, is...
Yeah, like, they have 3 games at least worth of bad game credit for me for that one game.
Yes.
Like, you can screw up for 10 years in a row now, as long as you...
It's like a back rub coupon.
Yeah. I will buy your shitty game.
Will you, though? I mean, I will wait for evidence that anything from Spec Ops carries over.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
The trailer of it read to me like someone went to them and was like, we need an answer for Sunset Overdrive. Go.
Yeah. Yeah, it just looked campy. And I'm not really down with camp, but it just didn't sell for me, honestly. No. I lost interest about midway through.
Yeah. As with most things, it could have benefited from being edited by about half.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what trailer was fucking delightful was Magicka 2.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
this was the one. Oh, go ahead.
Have you seen, like, they've done a lot of trailers like that. Have you seen any of their previous ones in that style?
No, but it was great. The Unemployed Wizard?
Yeah, so they've done... I want to say like at least 2 others for that. Like they did one of that for their like Call of Cthulhu expansion. Couple others, but yeah, no, that's the style they do, and that would like you said, that is amazing.
Mm-hmm. I don't care about the game. It was just a really good trailer.
Yeah.
It was the best timing I've ever seen is when he accidentally fires off the lightning bolt, and the camera goes to the cat. Exactly long enough for you to decide, oh, I guess they're not going to explode the cat, and then explodes the cat.
Yeah.
Like that is down to the millisecond for like, I was like, oh, they're not going to, and then they did it.
Yeah. That was really effective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well done, whoever did that.
Pandemic. Well, no, probably some production studio. They paid a lot of money to do that.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
Yeah. Abzu. Ben, did you see anything about Abzu?
I did not.
Now, you should
fill me in.
Care about it because it's from the art director from Journey. And what Journey was to the desert, this apparently looks to be for the sea.
How do you spell this?
ABZU. And there are some weird diacriticals in that, so I can't give you the exact spelling, but it should...
It's got heavy metal umlauts.
Yes. Yeah.
What language is that? Because it gave the definition, like ab is water and zoo is to know, or vice versa. And so they gave like a definition, and I just wasn't sure what like language that was from.
I don't know, probably some native. If I were to guess, some native language, but
native is in they're making it up for the game, or native is in just a native culture.
Indigenous peoples to some region.
I was gonna say everyone is
native to somebody.
Yeah. Just based on what I'm seeing in my own, I have nothing to base that on aside from what is probably some kind of gross prejudice. So I will back away slowly.
In conclusion, we are all horrible people.
I mean, that's taken as read. We're doing podcasts.
Yeah.
What? I was unfamiliar with this stereotype.
Oh, dude. Just don't say your full name at the beginning of the episode anymore. I should have stopped you before.
Oh,
No.
No. Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's interesting because Journey had like a water element to it already. Yeah. So I don't know.
This appears to be like side scrolling as well,
and slightly more grounded in real life. Like the marine life was identifiable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not
I was
carp.
disappointed that the dude did not get sharked.
Oh, what? Do you know what sharking means?
What does sharking mean? I don't know.
Okay, that is.
You were the internet. Someone's going to tell me, Cole.
Okay.
Sharked?
Okay, so I'll just say this right now. Sharking is a slang term for the act of, in a public place, manipulating your squishy bits to the finishing of that, and taking the product of it and sneaking up on somebody and throwing it at them and then running away.
No, Cole. Oh. Sharking is convincing someone that you're bad at a game to get them to bet on the game when you're really good at the game.
That's hustling.
No, that's sharking.
That's hustling.
I refuse to accept your reality.
To Urban Dictionary.
I was going to say, according to Urban Dictionary, Cole just defined European sharking. It's something different. Thanks, Internet.
They spell it SHOURKEING.
Yeah, okay, you're European sharking. I had no idea that I was like invoking something from the continent. But yeah, okay, yeah. But Abzu looks cool, guys.
Oh yeah, video games. Yeah,
It does. I hope it's as big as they made it look.
Yeah. Was there a joke in that, or?
No, just like it made it look like and feel like you were exploring a vast ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd hate if it came out and had little tiny platformer levels.
Yeah.
Like this should be something I can get lost wandering around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Moving on, Let It Die from Suda51. I had no interest in that. It looked like way too like gore porn.
Like it was a Fallout 3 trailer. Like a live action Fallout 3 trailer.
Yeah. But it was gameplay.
Wait, to be fair,
what? No, I thought it was live action.
No, it's gameplay.
Damn, that looks good.
To be fair, isn't gore porn kind of one of the things he does?
I mean, a little bit. I don't know. So I'm a big defender of him because of Killer 7, which is fucking great. But I haven't played anything of his recently. Although Killer is Dead was just put out on PC for a very low price, so I might actually dive into that.
You guys had one of the best quotes I've ever heard when you were talking about Killer 7, and you said you feel like you guys being the Watch Out for Fireballs crew, saying that Suda51, it feels like he moved on from what he felt was needed to what he felt was expected. Mm-hmm. I thought that captures his arc perfectly.
Yeah. So this doesn't appear as stylized. This appears, a little bit more just kind of like straight up and on the nose about like, haha, horrible things are happening on the screen.
Yeah, there's no way that was actual gameplay though. Are you sure?
So, I'm watching it. There's some video and then there's some gameplay.
Yeah.
So Dennis, the parts you're thinking about are probably the video,
and the parts that I'm thinking about are probably gameplay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I thought they just kept on overlaying like video game style, markers over the people. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was, if that is true, still skeptical. That looks incredibly good, and that would be the best case for next gen graphics because I did not realize that was not real life.
I can't believe it's not
you're
people.
You're thinking of video. You're thinking of video.
I can't believe it's not people. Soylent green light.
Oh man, I might just like publish the list of titles from now on. Yeah. Moving on quickly. No Man's Sky looks pretty good. I'm interested in that. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but like the procedurally generated first-person space exploration game.
Yeah, and this is one. Sorry, I'm going to shatter everyone's illusions. I was very disappointed when they got to the extra content piece of that because, and David, correct me if I'm wrong, the way that the development team talked about that made it sound like they very heavily scripted it versus this being a procedural thing.
Oh no, I didn't get that at all, actually.
I could see them doing a very highly controlled vertical slice for the trailer because that wasn't gameplay. That was obviously put together as a presentation of kind of like what the breadth of the experience is. Yeah. But like just the idea that you can hop into a spaceship and then just go to another planet.
Yeah.
I mean, all of that is predicated on, is there anything interesting to do on those planets? But the idea that everybody gets their own planet. What
was the scripting you heard?
Oh, that essentially it was like a gameplay trailer.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm expressing myself poorly. That it's not like, hey, they randomly stumbled on this and captured it, but it was like they very carefully orchestrated and set up every single thing that was going to happen, and then kind of ran its course.
Oh yeah, I think clearly that was the situation. But I mean, I guess I never would have thought it would ever be different, so I guess that didn't.
Maybe
shocking to me.
Maybe it's me. Like I wanted to believe that they kind of cruised around in the game until they found some cool stuff and like took that and made it a trailer.
Sure, but I mean, I feel like the core gameplay or the core gameplay idea seems really cool.
Premise.
I feel like the one concern I would have in terms of like kind of some of the longevity is there actually a game under that?
Yeah. Again, it's predicated on, is there anything interesting to do?
Yeah, so again, going into the bonus interview stuff, they talked about the central, well, they expressed it this way. They said the central goal that they expect most people to pursue is to get to the center of the universe.
Me?
And
where they find themselves. Yeah.
It was, you had it all along. But that you know,
no, you said there'd be sandwiches. Oh, good. Sorry.
Yeah. That was something, you know, that would take resources, that would take planning, and you'd kind of have to work at that. And that would kind of constitute the game. But that they made it sound like that was definitely a goal that you could reject, and you could just kind of dick around and have a lot of fun as a pure sandbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool.
So I vote we skip YouTube and PlayStation Now and PlayStation TV and The Last of Us.
Well, I mean, so let's talk about the games before we get to the hardware stuff, because I'm kind of interested in the hardware.
Oh, you are? Okay. I and again, maybe it was getting later in the night, but I hardcore started tuning out around that point. Yeah. Just like, oh, you guys are losing the plot.
No, I think it's a shrewd move on their part, actually. Well, now that we're talking about it, so like
go ahead.
YouTube uploading, I think that here's what I think is happening with all the copyright kind of things. I think that everybody's hopping on, let's get shit on YouTube, not so much so that we can share people can share their experiences, but like we're going to make it so that let's players and streamers and stuff are not making ad money, but that all of that goes to the publishers. I think that is the only way that these two things line up, right? And the idea that, oh, you can just press this button and upload your play to YouTube, that kind of seems neat, but that doesn't square up with all of the copyright stuff that's happening. So
but it'll publish to the individual's YouTube channel.
Yes.
It doesn't publish to some like publisher channel.
Right. It'll publish to the individual YouTube channel. However, the way that this works, if YouTube's content identification system says, "Hey, this is a blank," what it'll do is it'll hijack ad dollars from that and divert it to Nintendo or to the copyright holder, as opposed to the person who did that. Like that's been a term of some of the settlements, specifically with Nintendo against certain Let's Players. And so, like again, that's the only way that I can square this up. The idea that everything is moving towards this is going on YouTube, and also all of the copyright claims.
On the other hand,
go ahead.
The exact opposite possibility would be that this is an attempt to basically force publishers to play nice, by Sony in effect giving it their seal of approval.
Oh, true.
Yeah, that's where I thought you were going with it, and that's what I would expect. Because for them to be making a play to shut it down, like you described, would be antithetical to the whole like, "Hey, we're about you, we're about the games" mantra that they touted throughout the entire conference.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not so much like Sony's motivation, but YouTube's motivation to let that happen. Right.
True. I guess what I'm saying though is, I feel like maybe the thing is, like what happened with like music on the internet. Granted, it's still something that people fight over to some degree, but there's a certain degree to which it at some point became so popular that the publishers couldn't fight it anymore. And I guess my read on it was kind of, this is Sony pushing for, we're just going to try to make this so mainstream that people have no choice but to play along.
Yeah. So my skepticism doesn't apply to the actual experience of using it. I love the idea of pressing a button and just having it go up there.
Sure.
I'm skeptical of the economics and politics behind the decision.
Yeah.
Really is where that comes from. The PlayStation Now thing, I think that just in the interest of keeping games available for people, that is huge. To my mind, I'd be curious if, as a server side solution, that I don't know if it is perfect, kind of way to handle things. But then again, I don't know that downloading things and just running them locally is a perfect solution because that can always go away too. But it's interesting at the very least because it opens up older games for the PS4, which right now just plays PS4 games.
Yeah.
So, retro gaming is cool and people should be able to do it. And Sony taking a vested interest in making it available is neat to my mind.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And also they're saying like a rental they think will generally be between $3 and $20.
Yeah.
Which seems pretty reasonable. The $20 range, unless it was fairly long-term rental, seems a little high, but still, it's not like horrible.
Yeah, and I could see that being like a sliding scale kind of thing too. Like if it is a game that just came out this week, doing a $20 rental just to check it out, and a lot of games can be beaten over a weekend. So
yeah, or I could see them doing like a thing where hey, hit this button, you just pay the rest of the $40.
Yeah,
to keep it.
Yeah. Hey, Dennis, can you move a little bit closer to the mic?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm slouching.
That's fine.
I got my gangsta lean on.
Something else that's cool about that is running the PlayStation Now on the Vita, which gives you the opportunity to play it in different locales than your living room. And also, the PlayStation TV looks kind of sweet to me.
Mm-hmm.
See, my takeaway from PlayStation TV was that I can buy a $99 Vita.
Yeah. Or you can buy a $99. I can play this in my bedroom while my PlayStation 4 is in my living room.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I love the idea of these. Well, I'm okay. Well, if you had to, just come along with me on a fantastic journey where somebody owns more than one television.
Fair enough. Okay.
Blasphemy.
Yeah. No, I like these set-top boxes. I love the Apple TV. I like the idea of the Amazon Fire TV. I would like to buy one of those. PlayStation TV looks pretty cool too, and it actually offers some kind of different solution. And it's $99 for the thing, and it's $139 for the bundle. And just using that as let's play PlayStation 1 games, or PS Vita games or whatever from your room. Like that bundle comes with a 6-axis and an HDMI cord and a memory card. So it's like everything you need to have a pretty good system just hooked up to a TV. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's kind of cool. I mean, what's your guys' opinion, and also what was the feeling in the room?
I think people were tired.
Yeah.
I feel like this one maybe. I feel like to a certain degree this one can be less useful for a someone who's a hardcore gamer, simply because it's much more. In that sort of scenario, they're much more likely to, to just play in front of their TV and, do that as a dedicated thing. Whereas I feel like this would be very useful for someone who, kind of like you said, wants to just be able to, play from your bed, kind of a more casual approach. So I feel like maybe this one didn't quite line up with that audience quite as well, which I don't think invalidates the product. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. The theater we were in, the people cheered when it was announced, and they're like, "Oh, it's coming here, yay!" And then they wouldn't stop talking about it. Like we know what it is. We've read the articles. Mm-hmm. You can keep on describing it to me, but you're not helping anyone.
Yeah. I wonder. I could see I don't know, how much this is actually a thing anywhere, but places like Rocks on campus, or used to be on campus, the
cyber cafe.
Yeah, basically a cyber cafe except with video games. I could see stuff like this being cool to where you could have the PlayStation somewhere and then have the PlayStation TV be where your customer is. And, kind of setups like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that the actual expensive thing is not out there for people to steal.
Right. And I imagine, there's probably other things with that. this isn't necessarily my thing, but like if you were wanting to, if you were really big into like interior design, having a big bulky thing sit by your TV might not. Like, I feel like there could be some fringe uses for this that could be kind of cool.
Yeah, you can mount those small TV boxes to the back of a TV that's mounted on the wall. Like it's totally a thing you can do. Yeah, I mean there are considerations, and just having a cheap box that extends this ecosystem is attractive, right?
Yeah,
yeah. Last of Us, I have no idea why it's being updated for PlayStation 4. Kind of the same thing for GTA 5.
Yeah, I was so pissed off that those were being treated as big announcements.
Yeah.
It's just like they already looked pretty good, you know.
Yeah, like Halo's much more significant of an announcement, you know, because
because the game came out 10 fucking years ago.
Yeah,
like it's okay. Here's the thing. You can't announce it as a big new release that you're upgrading something if it's still under a spoiler moratorium.
Yeah, well,
which they ignored.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
This trailer contains spoilers for like 3 seconds and then immediately into spoilers.
Yeah, immediately showing you like what the first third of the game was building toward.
It's gonna be like, hey, I'm going to give you the finger, and then giving us the finger.
Fuck you, incoming in 3, 2, fuck you. Wow, I don't know what I expected.
Well, I can't be mad. They did warn me.
Do not eat frozen dove. Oh, man. Yeah, pretty gross. So I have Uncharted 4 in the notes here, but was that part of... I forget if that was part of the... Because like you said, it was late and I was working, so...
No, that was the thing they closed on.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they immediately went to Naughty Dog for the post-interview in the exclusive content.
Okay. I jumped to that before talking about Batman, which looks sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Scarecrow.
And so the like E3 freak out, like everything, is off track was intentional, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It was not immediately clear watching it. I don't know why. Maybe it was
partially because the live stream had done that already.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem, is we were watching on a live stream where that had happened. It was pretty clear that it was, bad stuff happening inside the theater, or inside the actual E3 theater. And I eventually came to the conclusion, okay, this was intentional, but it seemed like kind of a miss that, you should have been confused for a little bit and then been like, oh, I get it, versus it was like confused for like the rest of the trailer and then only afterwards thinking back on it could you puzzle it out. But it's a very cool concept.
Scarecrow.
Yeah. Oh,
and for anyone who didn't see it, we watched the live stream, since apparently there are a ton of you guys listening. Thank you. They got halfway through the Batman demo and then everything started freezing up and random lights started coming on in the E3 thing. Like it looked like some computer was freaking out and the light shows started going off where they shouldn't be. But then Scarecrow came on the screen and gave a nice little monologue. And it became clear that it was, kind of the trailer.
Intentional.
Yeah, intentionally making it look like E3 was having a malfunction.
Yeah, E3 itself.
Yeah.
The concept of E3.
Yeah. So, looks pretty cool. I was impressed by some of those city views. Like, I'm jazzed about this in a totally, I think, justifiable way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Batman.
I'm not nearly so sold on the Batmobile. Like, I don't get why people are excited about that.
I trust.
Yeah, no, like, I agree. And I think even if the Batmobile is crap, which I don't think it will be, but even if it is, I'm sure the rest of the game will make up for that.
They make the gadgets so interesting in the rest of the game that, like, having Batmobile gadgets would have to be, like, extra cool. I don't know, like... Just there's so much cultural cachet behind the Batmobile. Like everybody wants to have driven it.
Yeah,
I guess I don't know. I guess one thing I thought was kind of weird is I felt like it was kind of Batman cosplaying as Iron Man.
Well, he is,
except not exactly.
I mean,
Well, but I mean, just like in the past, it wasn't like every part of my suit is like mechanized.
Yeah, David, I totally understand where you're coming from. I have similar opinions. I don't know. I think going in the direction of the city is not as great because like part of the thing that made Arkham Asylum so great was how intimate the environment was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I hate the burst. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, was that one of the things? Did they talk about it in the presentation or in the interviews afterwards, where they kind of said though there was a degree to which they were trying to very purposely. Their point in Arkham Asylum was like close and intimate, and then the other games were meant to be exploring like kind of different takes on it.
Yeah, I believe it was in the exclusive content, and what they said was like, Arkham Asylum we were like claustrophobic, go, and like built the game around that. For this new one, they were like Batmobile, go, and like they're very much. It sounded like building the game around the Batmobile, and it's like we want that is the new thing, that is the star of the show. And we will bend, and not like every single mission is going to happen in the Batmobile, but the city is designed to be very friendly to riding the Batmobile around it, and the missions are designed to integrate it in cool ways. So it's not just a tack on for travel; it's really kind of core to the concept of the game.
Yeah.
I was kind of annoyed though that they straight up just out and say, at the end of Arkham City, the Joker dies.
Oh yeah, more spoiler
except that
it's been 3 years.
I felt like that's an annoying spoiler, except that in a video game or in a comic book thing, that means absolutely nothing.
Right.
That's what the Joker does.
Yeah. No, and then the other thing they confirmed, since we're kind of starting to bleed into the exclusive content, the other thing that they talked about was how the first game was kind of Joker and Scarecrow together. Second game really focused on Joker. So Scarecrow, as you could kind of tease out from the trailer, Scarecrow is going to be a big bad. He's kind of the unifying force. And they talked about how Joker was kind of this go in, create chaos and improvise, whereas the Joker is much more methodical.
You mean Scarecrow is much more?
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, I just want to make sure we were clear.
Yeah, so Joker is, create chaos and improvise, and Scarecrow is much more methodical. Yeah. So, and they were playing with that idea for kind of how the tone of the bad guy worked out.
I want my Riddler game.
What?
Yeah.
He's in both of them.
I know.
Yeah. But one other thing from the exclusive interview I absolutely love. They're like, so, how does it feel to kind of bring home the trilogy? And just completely ignoring the fact that there was another bad game.
Yes, I noticed that.
That one is dead to them. They're not even acknowledging it.
I bought that for $7 on Steam. Go ahead, Ben.
That you overpaid. Well, I mean, to be fair, though, it's the trilogy of games that they have worked on, you know?
Yeah.
No, that's fair, yeah.
And also, it's the Arkham storyline trilogy. Like the other one, at least my understanding is, does not necessarily, does it tie into the arc in the same way?
No, it's a prequel. Yeah, so it's disconnected from the other ones.
Yeah, so I'm assuming this one is actually going to tie in as an arc in the same way that Arkham City is, to a large degree. It's almost we told you Arkham Asylum, so we could tell you Arkham City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2015. Mm-hmm. 2015 is shaping up to be an awesome year. Specifically, Nintendo seems to be moving most of their stuff over to that.
Yeah. Yeah, until everything gets delayed out of 2015.
Well,
A year from now, 2016, it's going to be the year, guys.
Yeah. Krusty will be here. You'll see.
It's the second time you've made that reference.
I know, right? It's so salient.
Just want to hedge your bets and make sure it gets into the podcast.
Yeah. I'm the guy who edits this is a real bear. I hear he takes out all those racist rants and screaming about fiat currency.
Emphasis on the screaming.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we may end up making that into a ringtone. I'm not sure. I will put that as a marker.
Oh, that's great.
Oh God,
he's actually a really nice guy. It's kind of funny.
So Nintendo. So everybody else I could kind of get a read on, right?
Wait, are we skipping Uncharted?
No, we're not. Sorry, I had that masterful segue. And I was just kind of letting it resolve its own momentum. Dennis, you're the person who has the most skin in this game, Uncharted.
Teaser trailer. Like, there will be another Uncharted game. We still know nothing about it. The end.
It might be the last one.
A Thief's End is the subtitle.
Yeah. In the exclusive content interview, they said, like, hey, we wanted to have Nathan Drake kind of have his happy ending, get out of the game, and then explore what could actually draw him back in. Yeah. So that's... Yeah.
What an original concept that's never been done before.
Exactly. Like, there's nothing new there.
They did at least a little bit imply that they wanted to draw on some of the emotion from The Last of Us. I'm doubting they mean that real hardcore, although I would like to see, like, the story maybe get a little bit more sophisticated.
Yeah, I mean, so my big bet on Uncharted came with Uncharted 3. I don't know, because IGN gave it a fucking 10. And I'm just, I got burnt hard on that game. Like, it was a piece of, I did not like that game at all, and I thought I was very disappointed with the way it was covered, and that's what I'll say about that. But so it's hard for me to get excited about the next Uncharted game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess this might amp it up. The director of Last of Us is coming back to Uncharted to work on that one, because apparently he's the same one who's the director of Uncharted 2 and 1.
Yeah.
So that might make you feel better.
Yeah, but I'm not going to get excited for it. I will play it and be pleasantly surprised. I will play this game. I'm just, I'm going in with
I mean, you have no illusions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I also blew past you guys talking about the kind of like post content, I can do
quick hits, and again, David, give color commentary. Sure. I've got the list here in front of me. So they started with the Naughty Dog interview, then they went to Hello Games, which does No Man's Sky, and they talked a lot about their vision for it, and then also kind of the scripting of the trailer and the moments they wanted to capture. Because go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Their vision for it, I liked that they called out some of the Asimov and I can't pronounce his name. The guy who did like Starship Troopers and how's
basically like 70s fiction, like
hard science fiction.
Oh, I guess, yeah. I got more. Like, hey, people with green skin and red grass, and like, just the crazy, bright, and optimistic kind of science fiction.
See, I actually got the exact opposite. Those were all hard science fiction writers as opposed to like space fantasy writers.
Interesting. Okay, maybe I didn't get the reference.
He invoked Heinlein and everything in the actual presentation, saying like, hey, here are my influences, and it was like, I don't actually see a lot of Heinlein in this.
Yeah.
Insofar as it's not crazy libertarian ranting and oorah military. So,
yeah, I can't say I actually saw that in that, but at the same time, anyone that's advocating for hard science fiction, at least gets something in my book.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. So then they went to Sucker Punch, where they talked about the DLC. It's Fetch's origin story, which I guess she is a prominent character. You play as her, which you could kind of see. It's kind of her coming of age story, so it doesn't focus on how she got her powers, but it focuses on how she kind of learned to use her powers. They went to Rocksteady and talked about Batman Arkham Knight, which we kind of talked about already. They went to Ready at Dawn to talk about The Order. Again, nothing impressive there.
Looked awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty game, that's for sure. They talked about how you would always have to use melee to finish off the Lycans, so you could use guns to weaken them, but it would always take close range combat to finish them. Which, interesting, but it's kind of a minute detail that I could see them totally bailing on if it doesn't work, and it felt like a bone being tossed. Ubisoft actually was pretty cool. So they talked more about the main character, and specifically his relation to the main villain. And basically the explanation for the main character is, they knew they had high expectations to live up to with Far Cry 3 and Voss, particularly as the villain. Your main character was born in the Himalayas, or this country, I forget the name of it, has kind of grown up living a modern contemporary lifestyle in the U.S. and has come back to his country to kind of rediscover himself, and finds out, obviously there's a lot more turmoil than he thought, but also finds out that his family, and very, very much his family name, is incredibly well known. And they want to create this situation where, like, everyone knows who you are, but you don't really know who you are. Like, I thought I was here on this discovery journey, and all of a sudden everyone wants to use me, and like, my presence holds this incredible cachet and power. It was almost like they didn't say that he was royalty, but it kind of came across as like the long lost king had returned or something like that. And of course, then the villain is set up to kind of play off that and to be, he's got some relevance to your name and your heritage, but you don't know what.
Mm-hmm. The other thing they kind of emphasized is that whereas the villains, Voss and I forget this fellow's name, but it sounded like they're kind of going to have them be very similar in terms of being just like these people that were very overtly insane and very dangerous. But whereas Voss was very like in your face and aggressive,
a bully.
This guy is much more the like in the background, like mastermind type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like, at least from what little we've seen so far, it seems like kind of the body language and the the appearance and how he talks and stuff like that seems to really support that.
Yeah. So that was Ubisoft. They did. Are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Ooh?
Yeah. Sorry,
okay.
I'm letting you guys go.
Okay. Yeah. Then they did the developers, like several indie developers in a row. So they did N++, which I'm incredibly excited for.
Yeah.
Nuclear Throne. Nuclear.
Yes.
Power.
Yeah.
I always have a panic attack when I say that word.
Nuclear.
Yeah, I know George Bush said it wrong, and I don't want to be like George Bush. But then I, second guess myself. Anyway, and then Galaxy, which is the kind of like Asteroids-esque shooter that's got a lot more going on under the hood. Those were really quick hits, nothing too special. Then they went to Battlefield, or the Battlefield developer, to DICE to talk about Battlefield Hardline, and to Bungie to talk about Destiny. Mm-hmm. But honestly, that was not anything new that I can remember.
Right.
And then they gave us free stuff. And then
and then I found $5.
Yeah, but
literally, then I got $5
in PlayStation credit.
Yeah. So that is probably overly detailed, but that's kind of everything that was in the extras. Lots of footage overlaid over the interviews.
Yeah, you went and did a thing.
It was worthwhile. I mean, it was a long drive, but obviously we had fun hanging out, and I think it was overall a good experience. I would be surprised if they didn't do it again next year.
Yeah.
Where was this again?
Outside of Columbus.
Okay.
Was it at Easton?
No.
Hilarious. Yeah.
It was Georgesville.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was just like a kind of random one.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
That's out there.
I would say, like, overall, one of my maybe my biggest interesting takeaway was, the people there, like we said, was a great group. It was really interesting to me to see the wide variety of games that people were really, really excited about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because, just because, like, like Little Big Planet versus like, the next big like bro shooter. Like those are two very, very different games that pretty much everyone was very equally excited about. I thought that was interesting, and it struck me as kind of positive.
Was there a bro shooter? Because I didn't.
Well, I would say the closest would be like Battlefield is now.
Yeah.
I will point out that there was literally a 2D platformer Contra-like called Broforce.
Yeah,
so
but that's the thing,
and
that's actually a pretty good game.
Yeah, watch the trailers for it. Even if you never get the game, the trailers are worth watching.
Nice.
We're kind of like running up on time, you guys, so let's kind of scoot through Nintendo here. Sorry to give them short shrift, but they're at the end. They knew what they did.
I was going to say, it turns out we're like everybody else then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not really a whole lot of surprises out of Nintendo. I think the biggest thing was that, like, I can't get a read on what they're trying to do, aside from saying, guys, 2015 is going to rule, just hold out hope. In the meantime, here's Smash Brothers, and also these, Amiibo figures.
Oh, yeah.
So we knew that NFC, that near-field communication, was built into the Wii U gamepad, and we kind of figured it was going to be used for some Skylanders-type hijinks. And yeah, it totally is. And it's going to be integrated into a bunch of games right now, Smash Brothers among them.
Womp womp.
So the idea... Good.
I was going to say, at the very least, Nick Basile says, that he's going to buy all of them because he is a child. So
I mean, that's self-knowledge, like knowing you can like the things that you like, and it doesn't seem like this is going to be the case. However, it's very unclear, the messaging around this. Like, will I be able to play as Mario in Smash Brothers if I don't own this fucking figurine?
Yeah, right.
Because that's what it sounds like to me, because I know that's how Skylanders works.
Yeah.
I feel like that sounds like a feature, because that means that I can steal... Bicus's effing Pikachu figurine.
Inside jokes about people we know.
Hi, Mom.
All you need to know is that anyone that would play as Pikachu is evil. I felt like that was
Oh, so we can hold all of the Star Fox figures hostage and make people play the game the way we want to play it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you steal all of the stage figurines except for Final Destination.
Yeah.
I like the
that's
idea
exactly
of having
what I'm
a
trying to
stage
present.
figurine.
Yeah, it's just
Like
different Wii pads.
It's really unwieldy.
Yeah. It's like a diorama. Yeah.
Like shoebox diorama, yeah.
Yeah. And then on the complete other side of that, like putting out that GameCube adapter, like having the 4-player, like that's great. Like, just here's $20 and we'll give you a USB thing that gives you 4 GameCube ports. Go nuts. You plug your wavebirds in. That's fine. We're going to sell you reissued, reissued GameCube controllers that have the Smash Brothers logo on them.
I think this, though, is Nintendo being like, yeah, we don't know how next gen works.
We're out of ideas. Remember 10 years ago?
No, but the thing is, what really disappointed me is they do that, but they didn't bring back what I really want to see, which is the reemergence of the Power Glove.
I mean, isn't motion controller just that all the time, always?
We're just waiting for the right movie.
Yeah, waiting for the Wizard 2, with just like, okay, we're getting Jenny Lewis and Fred Savage back together.
It's happening.
That's the best invocation of "it's happening" I've ever heard. It's late, you guys. I'm getting loopy. So Smash Brothers, they announced like, oh, you can use your Mii's in this. I don't give a fuck. Here's somebody from Kid Icarus. Go crazy. If you want
Pac-Man.
it, ask. It'll have it. Is Pac-Man in that bullshit?
Yeah.
Oh, god damn it, Ben. Sorry. I'm very upset. Seriously, Pac-Man is in Smash Brothers?
He's a newcomer. Yeah.
Jesus.
Power pills for everyone.
I mean, cool, I guess, but just for some reason that really upsets. It's no more like weird than Snake being in Brawl, I guess.
I'm still disappointed that Snake couldn't shank people. That I'm
You couldn't graphically slit Pikachu's throat.
Yes, I'm boycotting the game until that is added.
Do you think Pikachu's blood is battery acid?
Stands to reason.
I mean, there's no reason why it wouldn't be.
I mean, that's just science.
Yeah. So let's dance over the top of some of these. Yoshi's Woolly World looks fucking great.
Nice. The name sounds fucking great.
Yeah, no, it's from the Epic Yarn team, the Kirby's Epic Yarn team, and it looks amazing, like an HD game in that aesthetic with the arts and crafts kind of looks. Sign me up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Didn't Kirby get the same treatment for another game?
Yes, the one that I just said, Kirby's Epic Yarn.
No, I'm sorry.
No, there's a new Kirby.
Oh yeah, well there is
Rainbow.
the Kirby's Rainbow Curse, which is a follow up to probably the best reviewed Kirby game ever.
Yeah,
and I don't say ever as like a I'm being the comic book guy or whatever, but like seriously, like that is considered to be the heir apparent to the Kirby throne. So to see them using the gamepad for that is pretty cool. Like it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, Rainbow Curse is like the least scary curse ever.
It's like just pretty festive, like cool.
Like thanks, man.
Yeah. You're cool. Thanks, mummy. It's a rainbow mummy. Yeah. New Star Fox, which I couldn't care less about. I know people are fans, but I don't know.
You're a barrel.
God. Now I'm gonna have to cut that out.
That was my contribution.
I mean, it looked like an interesting use of the pad, like to aim and shit. But kind of, what is it? The Zombie U did it the same way pretty well, so it's not a novel thing.
What about Legend of Zelda?
Yeah, realistic Zelda coming 2015.
Oh, nice.
What?
Cool.
Explain this to me.
I mean, just the new Zelda game, high def graphics. It'll be Zelda. They say they're going to try and do some new gameplay stuff with it. I don't know. The trailer looks pretty neat. It's going to be Zelda. Hooray.
So is Zelda explicitly evolving into two separate species where you have the Twilight Princess and the Wind Waker?
Well, there was only the one Wind Waker.
I thought there's been a couple that have been like that.
Yeah, like on the DS and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's evolving into the two very distinct art styles.
I mean, I like that. I like that there's no strict style that they have to follow. Like a Link Between Worlds is just like, hey, what would a Link to the Past look like if it was 3D? Go. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. There's not enough detail to it. I'd be interested to see I would be less excited about this if Link Between Worlds wasn't so good. So yeah. So that kind of renews a little bit of my hope around it. Whereas Zelda Hyrule Warriors looks just god awful to me. It's Dynasty Warriors, but
so
with
I was
Zelda.
assuming that was the new Zelda.
No,
so
different things. Different things. Hyrule Warriors is Dynasty Warriors, but with Zelda. As if we wouldn't notice. Thanks, Ben.
Separate incidents.
Wow, I think there were 3 references there that just kind of piled onto each other. Yeah, right. Yeah, so Hyrule Warriors looks like garbage. It's pretty cool that Bayonetta 2 is coming with Bayonetta 1. I'm not quite sold on the game, but if they're going to do that, that is a nice little throw.
Okay, I thought I was the only one in the world that didn't like Bayonetta.
I mean, it just kind of seems gross and sexual. It seems like gross in a sexual way or sexual in a gross way. Either way works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mario Maker.
Is that what it sounds like?
Exactly.
It's 15 years after Little Big Planet.
World 1-1. 1-1.
Yeah. Wait.
1-1.
You mean this isn't
1-2.
a game where you pull a Frankenstein and build a Mario out of parts?
I'm going to be a monster. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh gosh,
that would be a much darker game.
Yeah. It seems like a pretty good application of the Wii U pad, though. Like that touchscreen, using it to do fine adjustments and stuff. That'd be fun, as kids' introduction to game design or whatever, or level building, figuring out what works and what doesn't.
I heard a lot of people comparing it to Mario Paint.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, good.
Yeah. Good on them. Thumbs up, guys. Keep doing that thing. Xenoblade, don't care about that. Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright coming to America? Yeah. I'm down.
I do not object.
In every puzzle, there is an answer, and the answer is, I will buy this game. Mario Party 10, don't give a fuck. Are there any fucks to be given?
That's the official subtitle.
That's the subtitle, yeah.
Mario Party 10, meh edition.
It's built in with a drinking game, so it's Mario Party 10, don't give a fuck.
Oh, gosh. Devil's Third, coming from Itagaki, the original designer behind Ninja Gaiden. It's Wii U exclusive, so I'm very hesitant about a hardcore game that does that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It'll be like Red Steel. Oh, wait.
Goal. Yeah. Let's see here. So why don't we hit some responses before we do miscellaneous and tie this up, because it is late as fuck. Ben, what's Brian Russell Wade say?
Brian says, also Captain Toad, Let It Die, Suda's new game, and new Zelda were pretty exciting. And I pre-ordered one of those Destiny PS4 bundles, even though I have no interest in the game because I couldn't resist the pretty color.
People love them. They white electronics.
Oh, yeah.
See, I was the other way around. Like, I think this E3 convinced me to buy a PS4, except that I want the bundle, but I don't want white.
That's funny.
I just know what white electronics turn into, which is off yellow electronics.
Exactly.
So, I'm not a smoker or anything, but that's just what the air we breathe does to things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Brian Russell Wade actually had a comment over earlier.
Oh, okay, cool. Can you hit me with that?
Bloodborne!
Yes, he did.
I'm sorry,
That's
it's like
also.
12 o'clock. I'm shouting in a park. I should not do that.
Dennis, what's Chad say?
Chad says, so, Nintendo, I want a Wii U for Mario Kart, Star Fox. I know you guys are sick of me mentioning that game, and the next Zelda. I don't want to pay $300 for the console. I'll wait until 2015. Sony really impressed me with their attitude towards indie developers. Last year was a taste, and this year really doubled down in a good way. I'm really surprised at the number of early access betas. Has this happened on such a large scale in consoles ever? No, all games are forever now. In early access beta, they will never have to finish a game again. And then From Software can just take my money directly from my bank account. I'm pretty sure we can set that up. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to talk about like his greatest hits on this, like Bloodborne is obviously going to be the takeaway here. But yeah. I don't know, like the indie developers thing, like just the industry at large recognizing like, hey, let's throw this a bone, and not only throw it a bone, but make it a key part of our messaging. Like that has gone a long way towards making me kind of loyal to Sony by proxy.
Yeah, you know? I couldn't quite tell how it was structured, but when they talked about all the games that Devolver was doing,
yeah.
That's one like studio, but they're like, and we've got Devolver working on 6 games, all PS4 exclusives. Yeah, I'm like, wait, that's one studio, like, and it's an indie studio. So how does that work? Did Sony come in and be like, guys, we are going to flood you with resources so that each of you can work on your own game?
Okay. Or we're going to sextuple your budget. So
yeah, exactly.
They are all getting divorces and are all on suicide watch.
Yeah,
simultaneously.
I figured it was just like a Manifest Destiny thing. They just like came in and took over the place.
Oh yeah, started roughing people up.
I've heard they've actually been incredibly respectful, which is encouraging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great. I don't know. They're good people. I mean, just even back in the PSN days, I feel like their indie outreach team has been doing good work. Yeah, David, what's Phil and David say?
Sure,
I mean, there we go. What I mean is, I want you to say 2 responses because they're both short.
Sure. Phil says, I'm really looking forward to No Man's Sky and the new releases on the Wii U. Mm-hmm. And then David Petrico says, looking forward to all the good-looking 3DS games coming up in the next year, and excited to play games on my Xbox One. And sad that the new From game is PS4 exclusive.
Yeah. it's looking like a Wii U and a PS4 in my future. The Wii U is reaching the point where it's going to become the new 3DS. Like, I bought the 3DS because there was a compelling enough case for it, i.e. Virtue's Last Reward. It's like, okay, cool. There's a critical mass I can reach on this, and it's been worth it ever since. The Wii U seems to be reaching that, and Bloodborne is its own case for owning a PS4. How about you guys?
Yeah,
waiting for Batman.
That's my favorite play.
I'm really seeing myself picking up a PS4 also because, like, with graduate school, I'm kind of getting to the point where I can't, unfortunately, I can't really maintain, like, the PC thing.
Yeah.
So that's something that just can't allow me to hit most of the major games that are kind of relevant to the world.
Yeah. Dennis, how about you?
I mean, I'm a bit of a Sony fanboy, all in good fun, of course. But yeah, I think a PS4 is in my future. I just have to figure out when.
Yeah.
So that depending on how this whole baby thing goes, I imagine that will have an effect on how soon I am acquiring a new console.
Pish posh.
It's never too early to teach your kid to pwn noobs.
I'd seriously talked with some friends in college about doing like a fake PSA about parents talk to your sons and daughters about playing games online. Only it was all about like how not to be a noob.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, combating racial slurs and sexism. It was about combating, like,
because
learn how to circle
lost
straight.
Cause.
Everyone knows it's Final Destination, Fox only, etc.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, yeah. I'll have a PS4 at some point. That point is to be determined.
I'll round us out with these last two comments. So Murph says, actually surprised at how relevant the announcements are this year. Finally, enough stuff to push me to buy a PS4 eventually. Yeah, relevance is a weird...
Seems like a strong consensus here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a strong consensus last year, too.
I wonder, though, how much of our positive reaction to this E3 is built off of last E3. Because, like I said, during the Sony conference this year, I hardcore thought they lost the plot halfway through. Mm-hmm. And it just got bad, real bad, until some of the announcements at the end. And even then, the announcements at the end were for PlayStation 3 games.
Yeah. Well, I picked up in that part where you thought it got bad because they were actually talking about hardware, because nobody was talking about hardware.
Yeah, I guess that's what made it work.
Yeah. Yeah. Relevant is strange. This is a very weird E3 because it feels like a rebuilding year. Like all of the major players are now on the stage. Let's watch them do funny tricks with knives and elephants. So
I disagree.
Wait, I think
though.
I missed that presentation.
Yeah,
they had that in Far Cry 2.
Yeah, I would say that this was the year that they needed to bring out, or regardless of what they actually did, what they needed to do was to bring out the big guns and say, okay, last year you could razzle dazzle us with hardware and new generation launches. Now that people are starting to buy these things and it's in people's homes, you have to justify that purchase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sony kind of seemed to do the best job of that, but I mean, just in terms of justifying hardware, Ubisoft and Electronic Arts they don't have any skin in that game really, and Nintendo is always off on its own little frequency.
Yeah, Nintendo is off roasting marshmallows somewhere, like
chasing fireflies. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jala says, my experience of E3 was secondhand. A friend of mine was on, who is a major Nintendo fanboy, was posting freaked out status updates about upcoming titles from that particular publisher, then spent a while in the fan zone planning cosplay and leaking videos. That is all. That being said, I usually just catch the gist of E3 via other gamer friends who have consoles. Is the fan zone a thing? Is that... I never want to be in the fan zone, guys.
Yeah, join the club, man. We've got T-shirts.
Oh God, I'm not a fan of anything. I am not a fan. Kole is not a fan. Like John Roderick, I am not a fan.
Hashtag Kolo.
Kole is not a fan. Hashtag. Yeah. Guys, do you have any last thoughts on E3 before we wrap up for the night? Oh shit! There were like miscellaneous things. Hotline Miami is getting a map editor. Mortal Kombat is a thing, I guess. And apparently there's a new Star Wars Battlefront.
Oh, yeah, Battlefront. Yeah, all right, whatever. Forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat X, I feel weird saying this about, like, Mortal Kombat, but did that seem a little excessive?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's the idea.
I realize that, but I don't know. Also, like, you can't walk away from, like, any of that. Like, how do you get a shattered patella and then go up and then kick someone in the face?
There's a great quote put out by one of the guys from Vlambeer, which says, like, for X number of years running, there have been more severed heads in a Sony presentation than women speakers.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Which is pretty gross. For all the praise we're heaping on Sony, it's kind of gross.
Although, I mean, Ubisoft obviously has Aisha Taylor hosting. So that's a big one. Sony had, I think, a girl on the stage for the LPP3 demo.
Yeah.
Did Microsoft have anyone?
Not that I recall. I didn't watch that live, so.
Yeah, neither did I. So yeah, hard to comment when you're just looking at text updates. Okay. Yeah. So, but what I will say is I feel like the games represented were much more diverse and appealed to a much wider spectrum of experiences.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So that's. I mean, do we want to take one last go around the table before we wrap up? Is that your closing comment, Dennis?
Yeah,
diverse
sure.
Games?
That'll be my closing comment.
Cool. Ben, how about you?
I mean, I'm excited by the fact that I might be justified in buying a console at some point. Yeah. So give it another half year to a year.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like that half year to a year thing seems really, really important and relevant in terms of that. A lot of the stuff that seemed like, like this is going to push forward the kind of games that are specifically to do with consoles, they're a year out. Mm-hmm. You know, like 2015 is when those things are going to happen. And anything that says, like, hey, it's coming out this fall, kind of seems to me like it's on the block to get pushed back. I'm thinking specifically like Dragon Age, you know, things like that. Like, there's an awful lot of, like, hey, there's promise for the future, like, hop on board. And with a couple of exceptions, you know, notably for me with my pet games like Sims 4 or, you know, whatever else I gushed about this episode, it's like 2015 seems to be when a lot of people are, you know, like when a lot of these companies are setting their stuff up for, which is fine because there's plenty of stuff to play. Like there's, you know, this is becoming, you know, a little bit less relevant for, you know, a certain cut of people who play games. Right. Mm-hmm. But, there's a lot of delayed gratification happening here, and there's a lot of, I don't know, for lack of a less douchey term, brand building, and a lot of identity building.
Honestly, the thing that I thought these conferences were about, again, justifying that purchase, but then also for, you know, there's a lot of people out there deciding right now what console they're going to buy. Yeah. And so it was very much about, hey, here is why you should buy us and not the other guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like almost, there's a degree to which, like, I'm now, like, last E3, I wasn't, well, like, say, midway through the year when the next-gen consoles came out, I wasn't really feeling much of a push to buy, you know, to commit, whereas now is the E3 where I'm actually feeling the need to commit because I'm starting to more and more not be able to play games I want. Mm-hmm. So I feel like, this was the game where you kind of set the hook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's button it up.
The credit. Not even gonna ask.
What?
You're not even going to ask?
It's past midnight. The statute of limitations is off.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody, for listening to us talk about some bullshit we know nothing about.
That's how we should close every week.
I guess. I don't know. We've been talking about it for a while. Yeah. We've been talking about it for a while. I don't know. But yeah, we really appreciate all of the participation that you guys had when we threw out that question. This is a strange episode, but we hope that our commentary was poignant and pointed. So in terms of things you can do, there's something that we have available for you that we want to remind you exists, which is the Amazon link. It is Duckfeed.tv/tipjar. There's a little Amazon link. If you buy stuff, you get a little kickback off. We get a little kickback off of that, rather, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. That is the headline thing I want to bring up. But other than that, I want to say, if you want to participate in the discussion, it is, Facebook.com/The Level Podcast. Y'all rule on there. And I'm very heartened to see a lot of the same faces every week. And new faces are always welcome. We are very, it's a very welcoming and accepting community. Am I wrong, dude?
Except
no,
for
you're
you,
not wrong. You're just a nice guy.
Ah, thanks.
Aw. I was going to pick one name that we should be angry at.
I mean, it's kind of always Geolaw.
Such an inconsiderate guy. Yeah. We always have to edit his Facebook posts because they're always spouting ethnic slurs. Yeah.
Honing in on Ben's game.
Yeah, I know.
just biting his steez. Oh, man. Jeffrey, just stop biting Ben's steez. Oh, man. But there's the Facebook. It's been a little bit since we got an iTunes review, so if you have not done that for us yet, that is a fantastic way to help us out. And also the Patreon. Get the episodes a day early by doing the Patreon. It's like an ongoing Kickstarter where you get rewards. I want to say every month. I want to say every week, but it's pretty much every day you benefit from that. So not to give a hard sell. Good?
Okay, I wanted to suggest a new reward level for the Patreon.
Okay.
I saw that Dogecoin got together and scraped together $50,000 to sponsor a NASCAR car.
Yes.
So I think we should, at the $50,000 level, the reward or the stretch goal, I guess, should be we will sponsor a NASCAR
Duckmobile.
car.
Yeah.
The Duckmobile.
I don't want to promise that. I think the politics of that are... tricky.
It's a dirty game.
It's a dirty game.
That NASCAR sponsor.
I don't want to wake up in a bathtub full of ice with both my kidneys gone. They'll come and get you. Yeah. But otherwise, just keep tuned and tell your friends. I feel like this has been an exceptionally long episode, and I thank you for sticking around towards the end. Let us know what you think of our commentary. Was it incisive? Was it not welcome at all?
How quickly did it get delirious?
Intelligible?
Yeah. So I've been Cole Ross, and I am at Cole Ross on Twitter.
I've been Dennis Furia, and I am at DFuria on Twitter.
I've been David Moneysmith. I'm at Moneysmith777 on Twitter.
And I have no idea. Oh,
I've been, and I continue to be Ben Merkel.
Okay.
At Merkelizer on Twitter.
And I
recognize that, Cole.
And I've been and continue to be inconsiderate. All right, guys. We need to pick a title.
At Inconsiderate?
No.
What do we have written down?
Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna give you the whole list, and we're gonna pick it, and this is gonna be the post roll. So we got to keep it punchy. All right.
All right.
Number 1, Bloodsport, Fiat Currency and the Halo Pistol, Field Dress a Snow Leopard, I Can't Believe It's Not People, Soylent Greenlight. It's So Salient. Meh Edition. And
that would be a good banner for the podcast in general. But,
and finally, Waiting for Batman.
I Can't Believe It's Not People.
I like Soylent Greenlight.
Yeah, I kind of like Soylent Greenlight, although I am kind of partial to fiat currency.
Okay, no, I can go with Soylent Greenlight.
You know what? I don't want to make it sound like we are just talking about the Soylent product that's out, the food goo. So it might have to be I Can't Believe It's Not People.
Okay. Is there a Soylent what?
Yeah, no, it is a libertarian programmer food stuff that is meant entirely for people who take no joy in life. So
yeah, look up Look up Technocrat Party sometime.
That's gross.
Okay. Okay. Well, then that's good by me.
I can't believe it's not people.